Hey, Matt Noren at the Community Workbench. I proudly sponsor the Community Workbench and everything that it represents for local entrepreneurs. And speaking of which, I am a local entrepreneur. I am a realtor with Remax Bell Park in Daigle, Connecticut. Fully licensed in Connecticut to do commercial, rentals, and residential. I absolutely love my job, love working with clients. So if you are in any need for a realtor, please give me a call, 860-428-6534. Your dreams are my job. Welcome to the Community Workbench. This is Matt Noren and Kyle Morrissey. We are your hosts of the #1 podcast in my basement. At the bench, we try to repair the sense of community. So every week we bring you small businesses, entrepreneurs, community leaders, charities, and pretty much whoever we feel like talking to. And this week we have the pleasure of speaking with Dylan from Daigle Farm, LLC. He is also the host of the Simply Growing Food podcast. Welcome, Dylan.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me on.
Yeah. You're our first farmer.
Sure. I feel honored. I do feel honored. I did look through the list of episodes, didn't see any farms. So.
And that's why I reached out. I had to correct this. I love the idea of food pantries being on, pretty much any business owner, any entrepreneurs in the area. And then definitely want to get into interviewing more farmers, more people that make food or, just the whole food thing is a big deal. It's
a movement.
It's also a hot button item for some people. And I get that. So I've listened to a few of your podcasts. Very well spoken, very knowledgeable about farming and the latest one I listened to was in its entirety was the chicken one.
Okay. Yes.
And I'm currently in the middle of your environmental series. You had like part 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, that crashed my computer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why there's 3 episodes. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Pretty knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, Kyle, his name was. Yeah. It's weird for a Kyle to be so knowledgeable.
One could agree.
Yeah, no, thank you for listeing. You're in the second part?
Nope, I'm almost done with the first part.
One, yeah. It does drag on.
Oh, we've had a 3-hour and 40-minute one.
No kidding.
Our Veterans Day special
said the same thing.
Understood.
So, to me, it's all natural conversation. So it doesn't. I don't know. For me, it's actually hard to bore me in a way if it's a good conversation where they're not like faking it or Like when I read from the script, it's horrible. So I don't like listening to that either.
They hear it every week at the beginning of the podcast.
And speaking of which, I want to get Dylan's contact information out there. He's located at 257 Woodward Road, Brooklyn, Connecticut, 06234. His phone number is 860-961-1640. You can also reach him at simplygrowingfood@gmail.com or www.simplygrowingfood.com.
Bingo.
All right.
Bingo. So. Yes. Yeah, and Simply Growing Food, that's been our motto since day one.
Yeah.
It took me a while to come up with what our motto was going to be. Because it's like, that's what people are going to remember you by. Like, your dream is my job. I might drop that a few times. I like it. I think it's good. It's very wide. It's very wide-ranging.
Open to all kinds of
it really
innuendo and perception.
So, Simply Growing Food, I mean, that's just what we're doing. Our biggest mission over the past few years is to promote more transparency, to get people on the farm. That's why we opened a stand. We built a brand new barn that has our stand, and it's mostly for our laying hens in our office where we do our show and gobs of paperwork. Believe it or not, for a small farm, there's a lot of paperwork. It just always blows me away. But that's good. It means we're busy.
Right.
So we want more people to come down and see, like physically see, because even going to some of these farms, going to a farmer's market, even a farm stand, you know, it's like if they're selling something in the cooler, like beef, but like there's no cows around, maybe just like, hey, why?
Right.
You know, I always tell people, like, ask the farmer any kind of like, ask us anything you want to know. I'm going to tell you the truth. Might be a little gruesome, you know, might be a little TMI to some people, but if you want to know about your food, I mean, hey,
Right,
let's
you
go
wanna
look
work
at it, you know, like
Yeah.
we're not hiding anything.
Right.
And in this industry, I didn't realize how much of some of that was taking place before I got into farming, you
Yeah.
know, and that's kind of what's like, if you look at our menu, we don't sell anything that we don't use ourselves. So like the beef, we sample beef from everywhere before we put it on the thing, you know, the honey, pretty much anything we don't grow or make,
Mhm.
we sample it, make sure it's up to our standards anyway,
Yeah.
you know, and we've noticed that, you know, if you don't, makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You don't catch a lot of things if you're not also eating the stuff you're selling. you
Right.
know,
Right. That makes
or
sense.
using the stuff you're selling. you
Yeah.
know, so yeah, no, it's been good. It's been good. Transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you don't raise beef there?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay,
yet.
so that's an aspiration.
Mhm.
Nice.
Mhm.
You raise pigs?
We do pork,
You do pork?
Thanksgiving turkeys, meat, broiler chickens,
Yeah.
which are all pasture raised. We do them in portable chicken tractors. So every day they're on fresh ground.
No,
Yeah.
I've seen those.
Yeah, I mean,
Brilliant idea.
like, why are we not on
Right.
on a mass scale? Like, why is the USDA? I'm sure they are subsidizing someone somewhere in the country doing this,
Yeah.
but you know, it kind of eradicates the issue with avian influenza. That's a hot topic too.
Okay.
But like, you know, growing animals in the dark is basically asking for virus. You know, like
okay, yeah, like the
most-
factory farming.
well,
that
yeah,
kind of
most of those
stuff.
buildings, the chickens are in the dark. Like they don't have natural sunlight, which, you know, they say that UV rays kill avian influenza. That could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shed a little light on it, no pun intended. But like,
Right.
we don't have those. We don't have a lot of disease issues with our animals, and I think a lot of that has to do with being out on the pasture.
Yeah.
I have this crazy idea of planting perennial herbs throughout our meat bird pasture, like lemon balm and sage and oregano, because those are all good to give to your animals, and we do that. You know, we have an herb garden pretty much that borders our meat bird pasture, and sometimes we'll just grab some oregano and crush it up, throw it right in their water. It's just like an overall like nutrient boost for them. You'll see a lot of times like backyard chicken keepers will buy like oregano oil, same kind of
Yeah.
concept, or electrolytes, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I want to plant that stuff, scatter it around the pasture, so like they're not just exposed to it, but at least they'll have some exposure to it, and I won't have to.
Right.
You know,
you
I'll
don't
just
have
let
to-
Mother Nature do it, and
Right.
when the pen moves over the lemon balm, they're gonna get some lemon balm. You know, like
Yeah.
kind of do something like that.
So essentially, the chickens are in a mobile cage,
Yes.
and it's like, so you just fire. It's got a motor and everything. You just.
Oh
fire
no, I pull it. I
You
move it
just pull
myself.
Okay.
I get in it.
Nice.
There's several different designs of chicken tractors. We're actually switching the whole, you know, meat bird production program to a different style chicken tractor that you can't stand up in. Currently, the ones we have, I've designed, they're like a dome and they're 6 feet, so I can get in there and I pick up the back of the tractor and move it with my body about half the length every day. So like they still have a little bit from the day before, you know, grain, residual, whatever. That'll attract bugs too. You know, their poo from the previous day, they'll bring some bugs in, they'll eat the bug. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a whole system to it. But we're going to change up our whole program to make more lower profile tractors. They're a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to manage. We're looking at expanding and renting some land from another farm in the area because we physically are out of pasture space.
Wow.
And this year we did 200 meat birds a month.
Oh my gosh.
It's just not enough. We're trying to shoot for 500 a month next season from April to November.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's when your farm stand? No, it's like May to December, right?
Oh,
Your-
the farm stand opens the end of April. This past spring we were open. I think it was Arbor Day or Earth Day. It was one of those days.
Yeah.
And we had a big craft fair. We had 10 or 12 vendors come. Grace Gourmet food truck was there. And we had like 400 people come through between Saturday and Sunday
Nice.
Wow.
for the craft fair. And the artisans cleaned up, man. Like they all were like, "When's the next one?" That was great.
That's
you
awesome.
know. And I think the fact that it's private, it's like you got to know about it. It's not everywhere. It doesn't attract everyone. You know.
Yeah.
It just brings out people that are serious about actually supporting local artists. You know
Well,
what I'm
I was
saying?
gonna say, if you want, you can text us the flyer or anything that
Oh,
you
cool,
have, and
cool.
we can put it up on our Thursday commercial.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and
That'd be
and
sweet.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, especially a couple of weeks before it goes off.
Yeah.
One thing we're actually supposed to plug is the February 8th Fire and Ice and the Poets at Large. They're having a big thing at Bradley that day.
They're not.
So could
It's
you-
canceled.
Oh,
Don't you read email?
we got an email on that?
We did. Or no, it was a message.
All right. Sorry about that. But Fire and Ice is still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because the volunteers are now getting there on Friday.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
And sleeping over.
no, I didn't hear any of that sleeping arrangements, but we're getting there to set up the tables, the ice tables early. We always used to go at 6:45 in the morning on Saturday, and have to
Gotcha.
have them all up and leveled by, and put ice on, or the ice company puts the ice on them, but they have to be ready for them,
Gotcha.
and they get there at like 9-10 o'clock and start going.
Like the blocks of ice.
The blocks of
What's
ice.
that way?
Oh, a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
They don't let me touch them.
Oh, really?
With good reason.
Okay. All right. Understood. Understood.
But no, that's a big event. I think they had like 29,000 people go through Putnam for that
Whoa.
last year, and it gets bigger every year. And there's more ice every year. There's more fire shows every year.
Wow.
And there's companies that order the professionally done ones.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then there's also companies that'll sponsor them, and then send their people that want to carve them, and they carve them right there on the side of the road. And I've done that before. We did that at Remax.
No kidding.
So yeah, carving ice is a lot like carving wood.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just colder and wetter.
Yeah. You can't put it back.
You can't put wood back
Yeah,
either.
no. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah,
That's cool.
But yeah, we always Remax always shows up for that, and a bunch of us love doing volunteer stuff because it's just a lot of fun in the morning.
Yeah.
So as long we've been lucky with weather the last all the years I've been doing it, it's been knock on wood, it's been
Yeah.
good weather.
I'll knock for you. I believe in the knock on wood thing. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but Fire and Ice, that's February 8th. And like I said, anything you want to plug, if you're having an artist or craft thing, we would love to just tell
Sweet.
people about it.
Yeah.
So,
Appreciate it.
yeah.
Will do.
So we'll back to we're doing it. You're making a smaller chicken tractor.
Oh yeah. So because we're trying to expand, we don't have enough pasture.
Mm-hmm.
We worked out a deal with a local farm to use their space. They have a lot of land that they're not really using.
Yeah.
So luckily it's close to the farm already. It's probably like 2 miles away. I don't want to name drop them just because I haven't asked them if it was cool, but I'm sure they'd be all right with it. But for now, we'll leave it off. I'm sure we'll have an announcement on our Facebook page, like, "Hey, partnering up with so and so to
Yeah.
bring you more chicken."
Yeah. Is it another farm?
It is another farm.
Okay.
They don't really grow meat. They do a little veggie. They have events and things like that. I know you both have heard of them being local, so I'll maybe tell you after or whatever. But so we're expanding our production up there to do about 300 a month on their property, 200 still a month on our property, and we're bringing on a helper, a good friend of mine, also named Kyle. Shout out to Kyle. He's been our head. Oh man, no pun intended. Our head chicken butcher guy.
That was that like head, he's the lead, or chicken?
We'll leave it open ended. You decide. You decide. And he does a great job. He actually reached out to us this year, saw us online, said, "Hey, I want to just get involved and help out if I can." I said, "You're our kind of people, Kyle.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we always need the help." And nobody wants to do Butcher Day. I don't really want to do Butcher
I
Day.
don't know. You might be able to start a thing.
I will tell you, we have had a tremendous amount of people that have that heard that we process our own chickens, and they reach out and they say, "Hey, I want to learn about it. I'll give you my day, my time. Just teach me how to do it."
I
Yeah.
mean, could you do a chicken butchering class?
Yeah, I could.
I mean, because people
Yeah.
do that on their own,
Yeah.
their house.
I mean, you sell them as a whole chicken, right?
Well, we do a little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
So
you
we
do part them out.
We do part them out.
Okay.
The state regulation on parts is a pretty gray area. Just
Love gray areas.
putting it out there. I know it's gray. I mean, we're very clean, and we haven't had any issues. I've been eating our own. We only eat our own meat. Like we don't buy from the store. So I don't, I don't see any issues with what we're doing. Bureaucrats that are smarter than I might, but I'm just a farmer. What do I know? So anyway, we do parts as well, but we have what's called the flock share program. So if you buy into the program, you got to buy a minimum of 5 birds. I'll just give you an example. Some people will buy like 60 for the season and pick up 10 every month. So you pick them up the same day they're processed, they're fresh, they're chilled, they're not frozen, but they're ready to go in your freezer. And you got to buy a minimum of 5 to join the program. Otherwise, it's like, why? And
5 for the year?
Yeah, right. It's like,
That's like,
why would you only give 5? But a lot of people are like new to this.
Yeah.
It's the first time they're buying fresh meat.
They just want to dip their toe in it.
Yep.
See how it goes.
Yep.
It is funny. There are fresh meats. They taste so different that some people, their palate's not used to it.
They're like weirded out. Well, you should be weirded out by it, first of all. Like
the dramatic difference.
Yes, that should be like, whoa, why?
Yeah, but they're weirded out that it tastes different, not that why does it taste
Yeah, exactly.
like, do I not taste the chemical?
I mean, we've literally had people like we've done some shows, like not farmers markets per se, because I'm not an advocate for farmers markets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah. But we've done like some private corporate markets at, PPC in the industrial park there.
Yeah.
We would go there, set up for their lunch hour and sell our stuff.
Is that Putnam Plastic?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I essentially met you. Yeah, I know you don't remember, but my wife worked there, and
man.
if she couldn't get to it, like once in a while, I'd stop by and grab.
Don't feel bad. He remembers everybody.
Okay.
Never forget a face.
I was gonna say, like, you look familiar too, but hey, man,
I get that all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm a 5. That's why everybody recognizes me.
Right down the middle.
That's a generous vibe.
Wow. Wow, it's getting brutal
Speaking
here.
of the guy that looks just like me.
A little whiter hair, I might add.
Well, so it's not quite just like me, right?
That's what you call wisdom.
That's right. I agree with that. Mine's getting white, so hey, wisdom. But so we've done some corporate, like, private stuff, and we've had people like straight up tell us that they won't buy fresh chicken unless they won't buy chicken unless it comes from the store.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't really convert that person. Right. They're afraid of something, and it actually has nothing to do really with you or the product. It's so like, what? It doesn't say Tyson.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's not in styrofoam.
Now we're name dropping?
Whatever. Yeah, good
They
point.
were our sponsor.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There are food lobbyists.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's an ugly world. But yeah, we're so if you join the flock share, like I was saying, a lot of people get like more than 5.
Yeah.
If you buy 5, it drops the price of a chicken from $20 to $17.50. If you buy 10 or more, it drops the price from $17.50 to $15 flat. And your chicken's going to range anywhere between 3 to 6 pounds, season given, depending on the type of weather that flock is experiencing, the type of year, time of year that we're processing that flock. So the season does actually affect the meat, and that's actually good for people to connect with, because sometimes in the spring we'll have smaller birds, Nobody ever says anything about the size of the chicken.
Yeah.
Nobody ever is like, oh, this is only 3. It's the quality. Because once you eat it, you're like, I guess I got really nothing to complain about here,
Yeah, the quality, and I'll second, like, if you're counting calories, you're not eating a whole chicken at one sitting.
If you're counting chemicals, there's nothing in ours, so
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
Touche. Thank you for saying that.
Not government meat.
Yeah.
One of my cousins, he listens to the show, and I said on one of the shows, I was like, it's government-free meat. He's like, that should be a T-shirt.
Yeah, it should. That's a great slogan.
Target, too,
I thought I was doing good with your dreams and my job.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good. Because your dreams are my job. I like it.
Hey, while you're taking a sip, I'm going to say thank you for this homemade wine. Thank you so much. It's delicious. Really good.
I'm glad you like it. I have had my fair share of it. I will say I've actually never been hungover from it.
Well, are we gonna knock on wood again?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a claim to fame, like in Italy, right? They
Mhm.
don't have the sulfites. It's pure,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody that goes over there, it's
The
like,
kids
yeah.
drink it. That's,
Hey, yeah, right. It's like grape juice. Yeah, man.
would you say this is like a Pinot Noir or Cabaret? I mean, I don't really know my wines.
I would say it is.
It's red.
Yeah, I was gonna say la good. You know? It's quite good. I'm not a aficionado or a sommelier
Right.
for the technicals out there, but I know it's pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
One year they called it jet fuel, and it tasted. I swear to God, it tasted just like Welch's grape juice. Like
Wow.
you didn't know you were drinking wine,
Wow.
and then it like hit you. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, what?
Hmm.
What is going on?
That's cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
I love liquor when it's in a clear bottle.
Government free. Government free wine. I was just looking at stills this morning. Yeah, right. Yeah. You're allowed, I think it's like 250 gallons of private production of alcohol.
Oh, wow.
So from wine to whiskey to
Beer.
beer,
Yeah,
right.
all those things.
Again, though, there's no like guy that checks how much alcohol's in your house.
Well, let's knock on wood.
Yeah, right. Man, there's gonna be a lot of that, man. You know,
Hired.
yeah, right. new sector. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, it's good. And one year they did make like 180 gallons. Like that was the most they did, and it was like, I mean, there's never any left come next September. So whatever that means to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the chickens come out
Yeah.
and is that like your main product, you think? Your number one?
It's yes. Yeah. And I think it's mostly because there's a lack of it in the area.
Yeah.
You know the name Joel Salatin,
It sounds familiar.
Polyface Farm down in Virginia. I call him the father of modern day permaculture.
Okay.
Because their whole practice down there is like, all their beef is grass fed. They move their herd every single day to new pasture. So like there's very little, if any, grain involved. And there's no baling hay because like you're just moving the animals constantly.
Yeah.
He has enough space to do that.
Right.
And the new chicken tractor model that we're doing is actually modeled off of his, because he does a lot of pasture raised poultry, and he's got a lot of books out there that I think I've listened to all of them. And his best one is Pasture Raised or Poultry Profits. Pasture Poultry Profits. That's what it is.
Pasture poultry profit.
And it will take any guy out of their desk job that wants to get away from their desk job into growing meat. It's very easy. The model is very easy. You just got to do it. And of course, like anything else, it's a numbers game. 200, is a good number, but it's just not enough, to the point where we don't have chicken. So it's like, what am I doing?
wow.
What am I doing this for if I don't have chicken?
Right.
Right.
Cassidy, my girlfriend, says that all the time. Like, why are we're feeding everybody else, but it's like the carpenter's house is never finished.
Right.
My
Pipe.
fridge doesn't have Tyson, but it doesn't have any chicken. So just go without until we have more.
Yeah.
That's kind of our philosophy with stuff. It's like we don't really need it.
But that's almost, I mean, I don't want to say any problem's good, but that's a good problem in the sense that you have the means to grow, right?
Mhm.
And you'll have the customer base to support the growth, right?
Mm.
Which is half the battle.
Yeah. A lot of things people will say like sales is the hardest part of their business.
Mhm.
But like in agriculture, I think it's like the easiest. I know there's a lot of uphill battles when like educating people, but if you get past the education, like people just want to buy real food.
Yeah.
Like everybody you meet is a potential customer.
Yeah, I've met a lot of salesmen doing what I do,
Mhm.
and the best ones, the most successful ones, root their spiel or their sales with education.
Yeah.
And that's usually once you educate somebody on the product, it's now they're your client for life.
For life.
You know?
Yeah.
And education and honesty. That's really what makes a good salesman. And selling 200, selling out like you
Selling
do.
out.
I mean,
Not
it's obviously
enough.
working.
We're out of bacon, and we just had 8 pigs come back in mid-November. 8 pigs was like 250 pounds of bacon.
Oh my
Wow.
god!
It's gone. I don't have any for
You guys
myself.
do thick cut or?
Yeah. Yeah, and we did a.
So you process all of that, and I hate to use the word process, but
We don't. We don't do
Okay.
the pork. Not that we legally couldn't. We legally couldn't process the pork and sell the cuts. If that makes any sense.
Really?
So
Okay.
the government is the government, and they have their crap. And one of those crappy things is that the meat has to be inspected by the USDA in order for
Right,
you to
right.
sell a cut.
So you got to bring it all to somewhere live.
Yes.
And then
And USDA plants are they're not, there's nothing special about them. They're not cleaner than the local guy that's still inspected by the health department. So there's still codes. It's not just some dude killing animals in his garage.
Right.
There are those dudes.
Yeah.
And they do what they do, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever. But, we go through a local guy that is health inspected. He's actually closing. He's the 3rd generation, and he has no kids.
Oh wow.
So, and he's actually, he got an education at UConn, and his first job after his tech degree was back to the slaughterhouse.
Oh. Okay.
Never once did anything with his tech degree. And this guy, I think Bobby's like 74.
Wow.
So you got to imagine, what year was that? Mid-70s when he got a tech degree.
Yeah.
Okay. So he went right back to the farm
Right.
and never, ever, ever left it. He's never had another job. It's just been there.
Yeah.
And my great-grandfather went to that farm to slaughter his animals.
Oh wow.
Okay, that's how this place has been there a long time.
Yeah.
And him closing has created a tremendous vacuum. Somebody's got to open a slaughterhouse.
Okay.
Somebody's got to do it in this
Yeah.
area, and they're going to clean up like you read about.
Wow.
I've had a few people talk to me about maybe working something out. Biggest thing is location.
Yeah.
Realtor.
Okay.
And
I'm listening.
small plug. And obviously, if the town will allow you to do that kind of business.
Now, when you sell like half a pig,
Mm-hmm.
is that something you can do, or is that same thing? Still got to go up there, go to the.
That's something I could do.
Oh, okay. So
Yep.
it's when they start making smaller cuts.
If I sold you a package of bacon, it's
Yeah.
got to be touched by Uncle Sam.
Okay.
If I sell you a pig that also contains bacon,
That's cut.
yeah, right. That's cool. It's totally fine. It's so weird the hoops they make us jump through as
For
just
sure.
small farmers.
Yeah.
And Joel Salatin worked with his congressman down in Virginia to get, I'm going to butcher all these words, but basically they got what's called the Prime Act passed in Congress. And what that allows farmers nationwide to do is to take our product to a local slaughterhouse, have them cut it up by cut, however you want it packaged, and then take those cuts and sell them by the cut legally to the end-line consumer. So basically, same thing with our chickens. I can't wholesale it to anybody that's going to sell it again. We used to do that with Lapsley's when it was inspected
okay.
chicken, when our chicken went through a USDA place in Rhode Island, which is disgusting and expensive and a racket. But anyway, so we used to sell to other farm stands and they would resell our chicken. Well, we can't do that, right? It also says I can't go to a farmer's market with my chicken and sell it because I process it. But I can
wow.
sell it at my farm and it's okay chicken.
It's okay chicken.
But if I go to the farmer's market, it's toxic.
Wow.
It's contraband. Straight up.
That's wild.
So,
That's wild.
and my girlfriend Cassidy, she's been running the farmer's market in Putnam. She did it last year. She was market master. And she only did that. She wanted to see, because I'm biased. I've been to some markets. I've been a part of some markets. I can tell you some stories about those awful experiences. And I would tell her these things. And she's like, well, it's one aspect of our business that's big in this industry, farmers markets. Some farms only go to farmers markets, no stands, certainly no home delivery. And so she wanted to learn about the industry to see if I was over-exaggerating.
Gotcha.
Come to find out I wasn't, but she's made some serious changes up there. And one of them, she's going to do it again this year, and one of them is that farmers have to label the food that they're selling that they don't grow. Now, what you should think right now is, what do you mean?
No, I think why would you go to a farmer's market and sell something you don't grow?
What? For money.
Well, I know that.
That's it, though.
Well, and they have variety at their table, and that or more variety at their table.
I mean, we got a variety.
Yeah,
but it passes the deception, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah, it definitely. Yeah, it should be labeled with who did grow it, right? But
or yeah, I mean,
but
I
we
guess
don't
you'd
get
wanna
that at
know
the grocery store.
Right.
I mean, you get.
But you get more. There's a lot of chemicals in the ingredient list.
Right. Well, all I'm saying,
Yeah, man,
all
that's
I'm
true.
saying is, if they don't have to do it while they're playing, why do you have to do it while you're playing?
Yeah, that's
so,
right,
like,
yeah.
Because Putnam
If
Farmers
I'm-
Market's a private entity, and they can
if
easily
I'm-
say this is the rule.
Yeah.
corporate
Yeah.
chicken is our us. You know what I mean? And I'm just
Yeah.
flying it in from China.
The chicken lobby is big.
Why? And then I don't have to say it, so I can say farm fresh. The only regulated word
Organic.
is organic.
Mhm.
That's the only word. If you want to put organic on there, it has to be certified by.
Right, and I
Uncle
get
Sam.
that, but they're private. They could do it. So I applaud her for doing that. So
Yeah.
then it's
Oh yeah, me
Oh.
too. Yeah, well, I'm not arguing that. It was just like, why would you do it and not label it? Is kind of like the question. Like, does it make you seem like a bigger farm, or it's farm fresh?
People are just trying to stay. I think it's that relevant thing.
Yeah.
They want to. It's a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out. They're afraid of missing out on a sale that could lead to more sales, and I totally understand that. In business too.
Right.
And that's why our selection is so big, because my business started when I was 16 selling eggs on the weekend. I would do home delivery then because I had a few experiences with markets back in the day, and I was like, I went to one. Some lady was selling hula hoops that she bedazzled. And I'm thinking to myself, they should call them spirit rings. Clever enough. Spirit rings.
Maybe we should have her on a podcast. I'm gonna write that down.
She may not still be in business. I don't know. I don't know the market on hula hoops. But like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, all these people are coming in, and to me, I'm being affiliated with spirit rings, and I'm here to sell. At the time, I only had eggs. I only had a chicken business, like an egg business. So I was only selling eggs. It was the only thing on my freaking table. I had like 50 dozen. I went in, a lot of eggs, sold them all. Legitimately sold them all.
Wow,
I was outside by the door. So not only was spirit hoops or whatever a problem, a lady inside, she was selling eggs. She came up to me at the end of the show, like irate. It was like, I didn't sell a single dozen eggs, and that's because of you. And I said, well, I opted to be outside, so people had to walk by me to go in to see you anyway.
Yeah.
She even lowered the price of her eggs by 50 cents, which could have been her initial problem. Just saying. But in order to try to like compete with what I was selling, and like to come up to me at the end of the show, it's so freaking petty. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? We're all selling food, right? Well, she didn't sell a damn egg, so she's not selling food. But you know what I'm saying? We're all there selling food and spirit hoops, whatever. It's all good.
Yeah.
But she was upset. So, I don't know. I was like 17.
I was gonna say, you're like a young kid at this
I'm like
point.
17. This lady's in her 40s. She's like, whatever. So I ended up buying eggs from her.
you felt bad, or
I
did you
felt bad. No,
buy them and then raise the price and sell them outside?
Yeah, no. no.
Let me show you how to do this.
No. Yeah, right. Yeah. Maybe next time, if there is one. But no, she had goose eggs.
Oh.
And I used to keep some geese. I liked geese. They're like a dog. You can almost train them. They know their names. They know certain words. They're in tune to their person.
Aren't they?
Okay.
angry?
Wow.
Yes.
Territorial.
Yes.
I think it's territorial, right?
it's
They're not
both.
really. Oh, okay.
I had a goose named Timmy, and he would follow me around the farm everywhere I went. And he was just my daily, like my dog is now. Timmy
Yeah.
was just always with me. Didn't matter where I was, what I was doing. If I was in one place for a certain amount of time, he'd just lay down. He'd just chill with me. I mean,
Just like a dog.
just like a dog, you know. And now I have another dog. I don't have Timmy anymore. I don't know if he's still walking. God rest his soul if he's not. It was a great goose. Not the point. So I bought some goose eggs from this lady. She was selling them as fertile eggs, like $3-4 a piece, which was fair. And
So these will hatch.
these will hatch.
Okay.
They did hatch because at the time I had the hatchery starting up and I wasn't fully certified. Throwing that out there. So I bought some eggs off the street. Bought some friggin' eggs off the street like a delinquent. Non-inspected eggs, whatever you want to call it. Threw them in the incubator. I got a couple of geese. It was cool, but I, looking back, I've been in business now going on 7 years full time farming. You know, whatever, lady. You know, make better choices. You know,
I guess
it's a hobby for her. For me, it was a hobby, but like I had the business mindset then.
Right.
You know, I was delivering eggs on Sunday morning every weekend in high school to pay for my car. You know.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting chickens kind of like behind my parents' back, because as soon as I had a debit card, that bad boy opened up some doors, okay? And one of them was laying hens, man.
People get caught drinking. He's buying chickens behind him.
Yeah. Listen, man, you know, I grew up, my dad and I, you know, he had cows when I was a kid, and he would raise pigs when I was a kid, and it was mostly just for our freezer. It wasn't like a profit, even really for other people, business, some friends, whatever. Vinny sometimes. But then as I, you know, started getting older, he started getting rid of the larger animals, and then he would just do 50 broiler chickens every year. He had the school design this collapsible chicken coop, brilliant design, held together with door pins, door hinges. So all those pins just pinned these 6 panels together, and you had an instant 8x4 coop. It was really smart.
Yeah.
So every spring we'd put that together, and then we'd get our birds, and we'd do a year's worth of birds, 50 at a time, and he and I would process them on the farm and just put them in our freezer. So I grew up kind of doing that. So I had a little bit of knowledge of how to do that.
Yeah.
And something that always stood out to me is like people would come over for dinner and we'd be serving chicken and they'd be like, wow, this chicken tastes good. You know, why? It's because it was fresh, you know?
Right, yeah.
And back then we weren't pasture raising. We weren't sourcing local grain. We were just buying chickens, feeding them the stuff from the grain store, ag-way crap. And then, you know, that was that.
Yeah.
And they would just be raised in this little building and, that, you know, never saw grass. I raised some like that one time, and I totally swear still that I could taste the difference in an animal that was pasture raised to an animal that was confined. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think there's something to it.
Yeah, I would say even like hunters, right? When if you hit a deer in the vitals, some of them will still run 100, 150 yards. And I'm told if you chase them, it makes the meat more
tight.
Tough. Yeah, tough.
Yeah.
And you know, if you kind of let them go and fall on their own, they have that relaxation period when they're passing away.
Yeah.
Right. And then
you're not allowed to say that word, right?
What's that?
The die word.
Yeah, and they die. I mean,
it's a YouTube thing. It's a YouTube thing. Yeah.
We'll find out.
Every species lives at the expense of another. That's just the way it is. And you know, a hunting thing is no different. And,
no.
Yeah, so I mean, if that can change the flavor, I would imagine the entire life of an animal being cooped up versus, you know, pasture raised is going to be different.
And they're working different parts of their bodies. You know, when if you raise them like a conventional chicken, they're not really energetic. They're pretty lethargic. When you force them to be active, they kind of stay active.
Right.
You know, they're just a little bit more alert.
Yeah.
We have all of our, maybe you've seen them on some of our photos, but all of our pasture pens have their feeders and their waterers hang from chains. So when I move the pen, the feed and water moves with it. So you don't have to like take it out and do it separately.
Right.
We adjust the height of both the feed and the water as the animals are growing to force them to build leg muscles, because in conventional chickens, they get so big, their mass outpaces their organs.
And they can't stand up.
They can't. Well, yeah. So their muscles are crap, right? So they're not forced to build muscle. So of course they're crap. You know, if we sat in a chair all day, we'd be blubber. And then, so we force them to use their muscles. And the thing is we kind of regulate their feed, because the Cornish rock cross, which is the name of the meat bird that is used in every large-scale farm industry for broilers, whatever, they grow faster than their organs can like keep up. So a lot of times with the males, they'll get heart attacks because their mass is so big and their hearts are not. So for the first couple of seasons, I actually switched to just raising female broilers to to kind of circumvent that issue. I'm like, oh, I can't really afford a loss. No farmer can. But
Right.
first couple of years, I'm like, I really can't afford a loss. And I went through everything I could to just try to save money during the process. And raising the females did have a huge offset of heart attacks. Like, none, virtually none. But you trade that for getting a 4-pound carcass instead of a 6 to 7. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like I've sold 2.8-pound chickens. Nobody cares. Yeah. It's just the quality it speaks for itself. So the price is already better. You can't find this in the store. That's the other thing I'll tell other farmers. People can't find your product in the store. Organic, pasture raised, whatever the crap label says. They can't actually find, Daigle Farm pork or chicken or turkey at, Big Y or something. You literally have to come out and it's just here. It's only here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Farmers need to really push that,
Right.
Like we work a lot with Woodstock Creamery.
Yeah.
They're doing so much stuff up there that a lot of farms just aren't, and it's showing.
Plus, if you talk about like absorbable nutrients.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if anyone out there believes in this. I feel like there's something to it where if an animal is raised on the same circadian rhythm as its predator, us, or it's the one that eats it.
Yeah.
It's more absorbable nutrients where basically your mitochondria can accept the nutrients a lot easier and a lot more of it. That's like a theory, or it's probably a scientific thing. But for me, from what I've read, it's people will debate it all the time. But like, I don't know. I find that I am more healthy and more energetic when I stay away from any of the processed food, and we hit these local farmers markets, or it's the local animals and local. We have a garden that's like 30 by 50.
That's a good track. You can definitely get some food out of that bad boy.
Yeah, it's that part is. You get more food than a family of 4 can even eat.
Right.
And then you try, like, the one thing that is tough is when it comes to that September couple of weeks there where everything comes out and you're trying to harvest it all. You're up till 2, 3 in the morning blanching and freezing and suck-a-vacking.
Yeah.
Trying to we've had those nights. And this is like, when our kids were real little, we had nothing with the timing. We were just trying to save everything.
Of course.
We were making their baby food with it. We were doing everything we could. But it was like, not only did my second child not sleep well, we were like up late. It was like a couple of 3 weeks there where, when you're coming out of the summer, it's like everything's right. Everything's ready.
Yeah.
You're picking every day after work, and then you're sorting and doing whatever you're doing with it to save it for the rest of the evening.
You jar it or freeze it? What do you do?
We jar it a lot.
Okay.
We
water bath or pressure can?
We did some pressure canning.
Good for you.
And we did a lot of suck-a-vacking to the stuff that, like, summer squash and zucchini. The one I loved was, winter squash.
Oh, yeah.
Just like you just put that on a shelf in your basement. I was
Set it and forget it.
Yeah, that was like, oh, that's way easier.
Yeah. You ever dabble with potatoes and onions, stuff like that?
We did some onions.
Okay.
Didn't do enough to really try and save anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Potatoes, did we not do them, or we just fail? Garlic was one thing we could do.
Oh yeah, garlic's good.
We were up to like almost 200 garlic plants around.
Nice.
And we were planting them under the roses. We had them in a patch in there, and asparagus too. That was another one that would be just crazy in the beginning of the summer.
Yeah, tough to preserve though. Or do you freeze it?
And like we would have, but we love asparagus, so my wife and I just eat it.
Yeah. That's the best way to eat it.
Yeah. Same with cucumbers. We just eat them, and we almost can't produce too much of that stuff. But
right.
But like the tomatoes was definitely at the jar a lot. We'd make some salsas, and we'd make some sauces.
Yeah.
Or just have like chunked tomatoes preserved.
Right.
We did some blanching where you peel the skin and suck-a-vac and freeze that way, but most of it was zucchini and summer squash that we would blanch and then suck-a-vac, and you'd take it out, throw it on a grill, or take it out and put it in a pasta or something.
Sure. Huh.
But yeah, it was, especially, it was kind of cool to say, the kids were, raised on, homemade,
Real food.
homemade.
Everybody
baby
was
food.
at one point, right?
And with with the second child, it was funny because my wife just like when she was pregnant with him, she couldn't do anything green. It was
Green.
It was setting her off.
No kidding.
To get sick, and so I was the one doing all of that to feed the first kid.
Yeah.
Good time.
That's pretty cool. Though.
Yeah, and then even we had some wild Concord grapes.
Yeah.
We did jam, and we did a bunch of those things in the fall.
Sure.
So
that's pretty sweet.
we have our little orchard that produces peaches every other year.
Huh.
And I'm told that's a certain species that does that. And
okay.
of course that, it's a summer peach. So it was like we did some, not jam, preserves. Peach preserves and same thing, jarred, the whole bit. So
we ended up buying someone had a deal. It might have been Lapsley's. It might have been Woodstock Orchard. I don't remember, but we bought like 40 pounds of peaches, and we just, we friggin' water bathed them all, jarred them all, and we're still eating them. That, and we made a lot of pasta sauce.
Yeah.
We're currently working on building a certified kitchen at the farm.
Cool.
So that we can actually sell our sauces. Now we have a cottage license right now, which allows us to do breads, muffins, jams, infused oils, vinegars, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like shelf. What do they
shelf
call
stable.
It? Yeah. Shelf stable. There you go.
But I can't sell tomato sauce, which is shelf stable.
Oh.
Right. So you have to have a commercial license for that. So we're working on.
Is that because of the acidity levels and all of that has to be just right?
I just.
No, it's because the lobbyist said not a good idea.
It is funny that.
Side with that.
So how do you get that license? Is it an education or is it just more money?
The commercial license?
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
It's always money.
So why is there this separation if it really does take? I mean, to me, with the sauces we've jarred, it's like you got to have a certain headroom. You got to have certain acidity level, and
it's the pay to play, man. It's
just wild.
It's everywhere.
Same with carpentry. You can build a house. You just got to pay the money.
Permits, licenses,
insurance. So.
Oh yeah, insurance.
Same thing with food. Got any of that?
I'm shopping, so if you know anyone.
We just had Girardi insurance.
I did see that, but a lot of places won't cover farms, man.
Oh really?
Yeah,
they had 20. They might be able to help you.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Seemed like they could help everybody.
Yeah. Okay, that's the way to be, right? I mean, I'm not complaining about our current situation, but it just keeps going up and up and up. And I haven't shopped in 5 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And he even said every 3 years is a good time to shop.
Bingo.
So,
yeah.
I'll
be looking.
Yeah. There's actually been quite a few kind of the small insurance companies around here that have been bought out. So that I think in a way, as much as we love to be local, that gives them more flexibility on what they can and can't cover.
Right.
Especially location. They were saying, they can cover pretty much in any state in the union. So, and that was something they couldn't do before.
Wow.
So,
Jesus.
Yeah. So it's like a balance. You know, it's like I don't really love doing business with companies that are beholden to shareholders. But they're sometimes a necessity, especially when you're thinking like 401ks. Retiring.
Yes. Right.
But it's one of those things to me. If we can find everything you need in the local area, it's just so much more better off we will all be.
I kind of say the same thing to people. Like, you can pretty much find all of your basic food groups in the area, and there's some places that are even selling like jerky and pepperoni kind of stuff that's local.
Yeah.
People have to be a little bit more accustomed to not having processed processed food. It is feed, really. It's mostly just corn and soy anyway. So, but what do they say? Shop the edges of the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
Because everything in the center is garbage, basically.
Right.
But then, unfortunately, everything on the periphery is laced with chemicals, or that waxy thing called a peel that everybody's been freaking out on their apples and stuff. I mean, it's on everything. I mean, it's been on everything.
Yeah, to some degree, like you see the industry and how fast the human population grew, how fast they had to make food for everybody to starve to death. So it's like, to some degree, it's like, okay, but now it's like we have to go back to our roots. We have to go back. You have to have a small farm every so many miles, whatever that is per population.
It's sustainable.
It is. Right.
For the first time in a long time, for like small farms to pop up and pay their mortgage.
Right.
You know, like, and actually make a living doing this.
Yeah.
Without food, there's nothing.
Right.
So I think also part of the problem is obviously the undervalue of everything, because food is so subsidized in the grocery store because it's government controlled. Some things we just can't sell for the same price, and that's whatever.
Oh, for sure.
And that's like being trucked from Mexico or Chile or even California. You know, it's got so many more costs in it. I just don't understand how it's cheaper.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like most people that go to a farm stand understand it's probably going to be more than you would pay for something, but your quality is going to be way higher.
Yeah, the people that are, more people now are willing to care or shop for for quality.
Yeah.
There's still people that you'll never convince them or
yeah, but those people, like, every time I've gone to a farm stand, I bought something, right? Like,
sure.
you stopped and like, you find something to buy if they don't have what you're looking for, right?
Right.
Most people aren't. If they're stopping, they're there for a reason, right? And they're going to make a purchase. The people that you're not converting, you probably never see a day.
Yeah. I mean, I've knock on wood, I've only had like maybe 2 or 3 people that have like stopped in the past 2 years where the stand's been open and just didn't buy anything. They were just looking for something, and there was nothing else they could take home.
Yeah.
So whatever, and we say this thing where we'll get people that'll buy home delivery every week for like 3 or 4 months. They become a regular, and then they're just gone.
Okay.
And we're like, I guess they just stopped eating food or something. Like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I wonder.
Or they might not have the funds to do it.
Well, and that's a good point, Kyle. We try to really hit the same price point as a supermarket.
Oh, okay.
If you compared a lot of our vegetables, we're kind of in line with organic, okay? And when people ask us if we're organic, I say, no, we're beyond organic, because we're not paying for a label to charge you more money. That's effectively all it is.
Right.
The quality it's just not there. I mean, there's 250, I think, registered chemicals that can be used in organic farming. So what exactly are you buying? I just want to know, what exactly are you buying other than a government label? I don't get it. And,
well, I would think, so like the people that, cut off, I wouldn't expect them to go and buy the same product. I would expect, we don't have the money for organic anymore.
Right.
Where now we have to buy something different.
Right.
That's cheaper.
Yeah.
I would expect that, but
yeah.
You don't know. Have you encountered anybody that in the grocery store that left the home delivery?
Oh, good point. Good point. No.
Yeah, you don't go to the grocery store and ask people, why are you buying that?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. We did this thing this past Christmas where we took 5 Daigle Farm gift cards. They were $30 each, and we just put them on random people's cars at grocery stores primarily. yeah. Stop and Shop, Big Y, Walmart. We just drove through, and what's even weirder is one of those people is the mother of a former customer.
Oh, okay.
Just like small friggin' world. And then her mom gave her the gift card, but she was actually one of those people that was like, and this is super rare. Again, this has happened like twice in 7 years, where someone's like, please take me off of your weekly email. You don't have anything that I eat at the moment. And now we're talking like August. So we have literally everything. The only thing we don't have is pork at that point.
Yeah, but do you have like Cocoa Puffs?
No, sold out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Fresh out. Didn't make any this week. It's just so crazy.
That was good.
But it's real, man. It's real. It's real. And eggs are the order builder. I'm quite convinced, and that's why we kind of specialize in having eggs in the off season right now. We have a heated barn. The hens like that a lot. I have a light on them that keeps their circadian rhythm in lay, because they need at least 12 hours of light stimulation. Doesn't need to be from the sun. It can be just a 60-watt light bulb, and that's all we have on a timer in there. And that keeps 125 hens laying pretty regularly.
Wow.
Yeah, right now we're at 7 to 9 dozen a day, and that's not enough. And I'm not looking to grow my egg business by any means, but
Oh, really?
no. But it could easily sell 20 dozen, 30 dozen daily. No problem.
Delivered.
Wow.
Delivered.
Yeah.
I mean, our stand, when it's open in season, we do have a lot of people that only come to the stand. You know, delivery on farm fresh food is taboo to so many people.
Really?
Dude, they don't get the concept. They're like, what do you mean? You bring me food?
Just leave a cooler outside.
When
You
I
just
was-
leave a cooler out. That's it.
When I was a kid, man, there was still a few people getting milk delivered in the mornings.
Yeah.
Around here.
There's a company coming back doing that out in Enfield called the Modern Milkman,
Nice.
and that's what they do.
I hope they look like the old milkman.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Nice white uniform with a
There's like
hat.
a play on word, like the modern milkman, but it's an old truck.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the old uniform.
Yeah, right.
My grandmother was she was born and raised on a dairy farm, and she did the 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
runs with
Yeah.
the old T models when they were able to upgrade with the T model service truck
Well,
and had all the crates, the wooden crates
Yeah,
of
yeah.
milk and
Local farm?
where she was so she was a Holdridge.
Okay.
It's a very common name.
Holdridge Home and Garden. Right? Is that them?
Uh,
Or is that Holmgren? That might be Holmgren. Home
no,
Garden.
she was a Holdridge. I don't know.
Holdridge, yeah.
And I want to say it was like Stonington,
Okay.
somewhere around
Sure.
there, I think. And yeah, so
Huh.
like her parents were like immigrants,
Sure.
you know, Swedish
Hmm.
immigrants, I believe.
so back to your eggs.
So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And home delivery.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about that.
Is
but-
your is the farm stand like sort of self service, or you guys staff?
It's staffed by myself and Cassidy. We don't have someone that runs it yet. We were thinking about doing like a self-service day, maybe doing Fridays. You just like help yourself kind of thing. We went to a farm up in actually it's called Norwich, Vermont. Actually, back in October, I've got some family up there, and they go to a farm that is basically all pick your own. Like everything is pick your own.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And they have it on site. I'm calling it a grocery store because it basically is. It's all self checkout. They bring in, I guess, like the husband of the farmer is a big fisherman in Alaska, so they fly in salmon. They sell right in the store.
Wow.
They sell their pork. I mean, it was a really impressive operation, and nobody was working,
Yep.
but it was loaded with customers.
Wow.
You know, because like my uncle, he signs up for their CSA. Well, you're allotted so much in your CSA to pick your own. So we were just there, like helping him pick kale and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, people that are into CSAs probably aren't thieves.
No,
You know,
no,
so-
absolutely not.
Well, that's
you
why I was
know.
asking about self-service, because
Yeah.
it opens up the game, right, for
Mhm.
people to pick up and stuff. But if you're also willing to do home delivery,
I would rather do home delivery than farmers markets or even the stand because it's a guaranteed sale, right? You've already told me what you want. I'm bringing it to you. We do online invoicing, so a lot of people will pay ahead of time. So like it's a guaranteed sale, and that
Yeah.
was my biggest thing with farmers markets. Like you go through all this friggin' effort and time, and you might sell nothing.
Right. Right.
You know, even if you've got the best friggin'
Yeah.
lettuce in town, it doesn't matter.
You're looking to break even on the table.
Yeah, dude. And I saw so many people, I would hear so many people complain about that system, and it just turned me right off.
you ever seen the farmers market episode of Parks and Recreation where the shard, the shard,
yes. I love that show, Parks and Rec.
I've not seen it.
It's like an indoor farmers market,
Yeah.
and the guy's trying to sell shard, which is like horrible.
That's all he has, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
Shard.
Swiss chard.
yeah, Swiss chard. It's like a lettuce, right?
It is a green, but it's actually in the beet family.
It's like bitter.
It's pretty bitter.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
But so anyway, so he has like women in like bikinis
Yeah.
and stuff trying to sell
Selling chard. Yeah.
singing his song.
Yeah. Making chard sexy was the whole thing. You know? Yeah. I don't know about that.
And his argument was actually pretty valid.
Yeah,
Nobody's
yeah.
gonna buy it.
Nobody's
It's
gonna buy it.
impossible to sell.
Yeah. I mean, if you got one item, it's pretty limiting.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
But you know, an item like eggs is almost.
So you don't have anything like that.
Well, not at the moment. Not at the moment. Give it time.
do
Give
you
it time.
do you have greenhouses to grow?
Yeah. So I've got, and again, like a little bit of divine intervention, maybe. My dad is like a pack rat. Okay, so he has collected a ridiculous amount of just odds and ends and just random stuff. when I was thinking about starting a farm, I knew that there was this greenhouse sitting in a pile on the property. Like he saw it was for sale on the side of the road one day, and then like paid one of his brothers to go take it down. He bought it from the guy. Never put it up. Never had any aspiration to put it up. Okay, just had to have it.
It's probably part of his doomsday prepping.
Dude, whatever. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. But you know, it was a big greenhouse. It's 32 wide, and the total print's like 120. Wow. So I divided it up. I have two houses. One's 60, and the other one's 70 or 50.
Yeah, I feel like you've made videos of you picking stuff and.
Yeah, one of them's heated. That we keep in production year round. Like we're getting ready to pick the rest of we have some purple top turnips that are in there right now. We were eating those today out of the ground. Those are pretty good. Normally they're too bitter to eat without, cooking or something, but these ones pretty tasty raw.
What do you heat it with?
Wood.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you have a wood stove in there, huh?
I've got a wood stove in there.
Nice.
And it works,
Yeah.
It gives me like a buffer of 20 to 25 degrees of whatever outside is.
Yeah, that's all you need, right?
It's pretty much all you need. And a lot of these crops that we're growing this time of year can get frosted. A lot of people, there's a lot of misconceptions with farming and gardening and all this stuff. Like you could be in your yard in April planting food for yourself. No problem.
April, I feel like I'm behind.
Right. Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, good. But I hear it all the time. They're like, oh, Memorial Day.
Oh,
Memorial Day is when I put my garden in. I'm like,
February, you're pruning the grapes, pruning the fruit trees.
Yep.
And then by March, you're indoors trying to
get seedlings
and
going.
we have terrible sunlight in the house, so it's like we're trying to find some way of doing it indoors.
Yeah.
And then
I'll rent you some greenhouse time.
Yeah,
Hey, there you
This
go.
one's good. Yeah, that greenhouse is up and thriving now. Is that what you're saying?
It's a little chilly in there.
A little breezy.
Yeah, a little bit.
You have a greenhouse, Kyle?
I'm building one
It's
for
half
my wife.
a greenhouse, maybe.
Yeah.
Nice.
My wife does flowers.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
so.
no pun intended. That's a huge growing market around here. Is flower
Yeah,
farming.
she loves them. Yeah. So.
Are you in Brooklyn?
Yeah, we're actually right on Route 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Brooklyn Blooms, right?
Oh, you said it.
Yeah. No, you can.
I've
Yeah,
heard of
we're
Brooklyn. I've heard of them actually. Brooklyn Bloom. So
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Small
Yeah,
world.
that's
Small world.
I'm the lackey and the help, and she's the brains. So she's the talent. I'm just the. I don't really want to say manly force in the.
And as long as we're talking about it, I will shout out to Brooklyn Blooms because they don't even take their expenses out of the profit. Everything,
Really?
gets, everything gets donated.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like as a business person, I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, it's not our full time job. It's
right,
a
right.
hobby.
It's
for
a hobby.
her.
it's their
Yeah.
hobby and their
Yeah. So.
stress relief.
Right.
Making the bouquets, and they're so beautiful, and the things that she does. But yeah, they don't even. I mean, we've gotten them a lot of vases, and
Sure.
they do a lot of thrift shopping for that stuff, and then they sell them, and they don't even.
We've actually-
everything gets donated. That
We've
comes in
only
products, so.
so this will be coming up. Will be her 4th season.
Wow.
The first season we found this it's a little cart that's right on Route 6. We found it at Brimfield, and that was bought. And I think we bought some mason jars for vases, and then we have not bought another vase since.
Yeah.
They're donated. People come, they return them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just they're not like extravagant vases.
No.
It's a jar but it holds a nice bouquet.
Right.
And so yeah,
That's pretty
So,
cool.
yeah.
I didn't know you guys did that.
Yeah. Well, we try and keep a low profile.
Why? Why do you stay on the down low?
We'll tell you after the podcast
Okay.
why they keep a low profile.
Understood. Totally get it.
Understand that if you if you pay for a thing, every cent goes to charity.
Wow.
Not even their expenses come out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So cheers to Brooklyn Blooms.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Yeah, even though Kyle's a little empty there.
I tried.
The wine's good, man. Yeah, very
Thank
good.
you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be back for that if nothing else.
Yeah, man.
You can come on next week.
yeah. Screw the chicken, right? Yeah.
So you got 2 greenhouses. You heat one with wood.
Yeah, the other one is like seasonal.
Yeah.
We just kind of plant it when the season's here. In fact, this year I'm converting it into a turkey house. I'm not even going to put vegetables in it. I crunched some numbers and kind of figured out that we would make more money if we grew turkeys in that house as opposed to basically anything else.
So more meat? Is there just more money in meat? Is that the idea?
Yes. it also helps that turkeys are an emotional buy. It's a holiday. You know, we don't exploit that fact.
Oh no!
I'm just saying we do a flat rate just like the chickens. It's not by the pound. It's $100 a turkey. In fact, actually, 2025 is $125 a turkey, whatever size you want. You show up the same day we kill it. You take it home. It's fresh. It's not frozen, and it's the Tuesday of that week is when we kill. So
what's like maybe the average?
This year was
size you
22
get?
pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, they were decent little birds.
Size.
I mean, I got organic birds last year, and I bought 2, and I think I paid 75. So
Yeah.
it said organic, but it probably had those 250 chemicals.
Yeah, man. But seriously, man, you know, and we've tried our hand at wholesale turkeys too. That's a weird market.
What's that? Giving somebody a turkey live, basically? We rose it. There you go.
It's like allowing another business to get signups.
Yeah.
And then they'll
okay.
make
They
a
take a
commission
percent.
off
It's
of it.
like,
Kind
right,
of
right,
deal.
right.
Consignment turkey. Interesting.
Yeah, you know, you get creative.
Yeah.
You get a little creative because we're working around the law. You know, the Department of Ag in the state of Connecticut kind of turns a pretty blind eye to Thanksgiving because I know a lot of people are growing turkeys. And quite frankly, I know some people that just grow turkeys to help pay for their mortgage and stuff because it's that good of a crop for some folks.
Yeah.
You know, more
How many
power
did
to
you
them.
sell last year?
Oh, dude. It was a crap year for turkeys for us. We had, it was a monumental failure.
Did they have a sickness or something go through 'em,
Some
or-
did actually, and that
I know
is-
there's a drought too. That probably.
we got a well and we got water on the land. I mean, we got water.
Yeah.
I did something I don't ever do, and I brought in turkeys from 2 sources instead of 1, and that was the nail in the coffin.
Oh wow.
Because those turkey, I brought in 10. I had a flock of 40, right? So I had 50 at that point, right? I ended the season with 13.
Oh my god!
Wow.
It was the first time I ever had to call a vet.
Wow.
I don't have a vet, right? I don't
Right.
have sick animals. Like,
Would the vet say just let him die?
well, no, you know, the vet is very like, well, you should have it tested. Well, who wants to pay for that?
I was gonna say with that $5,000 to test one bird.
So he tests it, and then he says, just let it die.
Well, basically, I mean, he gave me some medication for the remaining turkeys, you know, because we do a deposit system, we do a pre-order system. So it's like some of these turkeys were sold. These turkeys were someone's holiday. Okay,
Oh man.
you really can't mess that up. You know, I do lose sleep over that. I haven't had to give that news to somebody, but working with Mother Nature, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know it's going to happen. There's going to be a
Right.
year where I got to ruin someone's holiday, and that
Yeah.
sucks because it doesn't matter about the money. The money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I've been doing this every year. I want to buy this quality turkey for my family. It's all that, and then you don't have it. You
Right.
know?
But I will say on your behalf, that's why we do this podcast. That's why people should be more linked with their food. I mean, obviously you're trying your hardest. You know what I mean? And Mother Nature just said no.
She don't care.
That's not, you know what I mean? Putting a chemical to fix that is what they did, and they shouldn't. You know what I mean? People should understand.
Right.
Some years there's a bad crop. Some years there's a bad yield. That's just the way it is.
Just the way it is.
Yeah.
And to me, you know, you have the bumper sticker. No farms, no food.
That's right, man.
So if you have a bad
sell
yield,
those?
we still got to.
No, the government puts those out.
My thing is like, you know, if apples don't grow in February, you shouldn't be eating apples.
Shouldn't be
It's
eating
just the
apples.
way it is. And then if there's a year of bad yield, whether it be El Nino or drought or whatever, it is what it is. You know, there's other crops that do much better.
Absolutely.
In those circumstances. So now you got to go to those. You got to shift. And
Yeah.
That's the way the world works.
Right.
And Mother Nature works. So
Yeah.
I just like kudos to you for sharing with us.
Thanks.
And you know, just like it's all part of, you know, if you know Dylan, if you're or any small business owner, that's why we do this. Is just get to know the business owners and get to know what the real trials and tribulations are of a local business. And, you know, if we have a huge drought and there's, for whatever reason, let's say an egg shortage, but
coming to a fridge near you.
But
Well, that brings up a good point. You keep going.
but some corporate place still has tons of eggs.
Oh yeah.
You should be questioning that.
Uh-huh.
You shouldn't be like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
yeah, because it's that long run wise,
Yeah.
that egg isn't going to be good for you if it came through unnatural ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And last year was that big egg thing,
Yeah.
right? We're going through it again, right? Because AI, avian influenza, is wreaking havoc. So
It's up to like 5 something.
a dozen.
Yeah.
I'm at 5. I just went up to 5. I was at 4 all through. Well, these past 3 years, I was
Good
at
for you.
$4. I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't do the egg bubble last winter.
I shouldn't say good for you. I should say thank you.
Dude, that was our point. It was like
Right.
you see all these local farms like $8-10 a dozen. I'm like, you guys are jerks.
Well,
The bubble
even
will pop.
the corporate
Oh,
eggs were
Yeah.
were
well, that's why
$7,
local
$8
guys were
bucks.
doing it.
Yeah.
They're following
I
the
see what you're
market. They're
saying,
like,
yeah.
oh, well, Eggland's Best is getting $10 a dozen. I should
Yeah.
get 12. Like, no, your cost didn't actually change whatsoever. You know how I know? Because mine didn't change whatsoever.
Yeah.
So the proper thing to do in business would obviously be exploit your customer.
Right.
Right? It's good for the business.
Yeah.
It's good for the business. But we're in food. There's a morality that is encompassed in this industry that some people just get away from. But if you get away from it, people will smell you out. They'll know that you're, snake oil. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of that. There's just a lot of it, man.
Well, I mean, if you're buying eggs and best, you're paying for a stamp on your egg, and that can't be cheap.
how come nobody ever
without-
thinks about the dye in the stamp, right? It permeates the shell. Okay.
I'm just thinking
Oh,
about
wow.
how you have a machine that stamps an egg and
Right.
doesn't break it.
Yeah,
It's got to
right.
be expensive.
That's a valid point, Kyle. I wonder what that looks like.
Well, also, every egg is the same size. That's
Right.
crazy to
Yeah.
me too. That
Yeah.
that it can go through a machine and be stamped.
It's a grading machine. So, like, I can't sell my eggs to a grocery store because I don't, again, pay to have my eggs graded. I could buy a grading machine. It's like a $20,000, $25,000 investment just for a machine to throw a light under an egg to show you hairline fractures. So then you can grade them from A to B to C to whatever. Fresh egg is a fresh egg. If you're going to eat it, you're going to eat it. Why are we grading it? Someone asked me about, like, grade A beef the other day. You can't find local grade A beef, right? I've not seen it.
I've never really looked for the letter.
Yeah, dude, me neither. When they brought this to my attention, they're like, how come you can't find graded local beef? I'm like, I don't freaking know. I think the fact that it's fresh and it's local beats any grade you're going to put on it. Like,
Right.
just go buy it. I just did an episode about chicken litter from big poultry houses. They feed it to cows.
Oh.
They feed the
wow.
bedding to cows. This is a standard practice all around the nation for a lot of CAFOs, which is like confined agricultural farming operation or something like that. Cows are traditionally fed litter from chicken grow operations.
Jeez.
Okay, so a lot of people are asking me this stuff, like, why are cows getting bird flu? And I'm like, I don't freaking know. So I did a little bit of research on it, and the government says that we had to kill 200 million chickens because of 10,000 wild geese. I'm not a mathematician, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Right.
But whatever. They feed this litter to cows, and now cows are getting bird flu. But they're saying that it's from these geese.
Wow.
Right? Like,
Right. That's crazy.
I'm not a genius. Okay, but like, let's just connect some dots here. You're taking infected bedding
Yeah.
and you're going to feed it to your burger. And then you're going to wonder why your burger is infected with bird flu.
Right.
Like, what? Like, I feel like I'm missing something sometimes when I read this stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
is it me?
Yeah.
Is it me? Or is it like everybody's like cool with it because they don't really know?
And then, of course, it's free feed, which brings me.
That's the biggest problem,
like,
dude.
I heard it on your other podcast. It just reminded me of that point you made where there's farmers out there that feed pigs for free because they're just giving them
Bread.
whatever's free.
Bread hostess. I mean, there's guys that won't even take the wrapper off the crap. And they'll just dump. Dude, I've seen some stuff. It's disgusting. And this is in the area. This is a local stand you might stop at and say, wow, look at this sausage. but it ate freaking Hostess cupcakes, and you're none the wiser because you're just a consumer.
Yeah.
It's a farm stand, so you think it's going to be
It's
better.
deception. It's the same thing. You walk into the grocery store, you see a picture of a cow, and you see some chickens in a freaking pasture
They
above
get
the
me
eggs.
every time.
Yeah, every time I'm like, this must be fresh.
You're so homey in here.
Yeah. It's a real problem, man. It's like this whole people just make the assumption. They're just assuming it's I'm at a farm. It must be grown here. It must be fresh. It must be quality. Well,
Hey, keep going,
Yeah,
and when you get to the end, tell us about your pick your own cherry patch.
Oh yeah.
But I have to step aside for a second.
Yeah.
You guys keep going.
So Matt was referring to this meme I saw recently that was what was I calling? I was calling it. There's a lot of deceptive memes of agriculture. I don't know what I was calling it, but basically, they were showing a carcass from a pig on one side that was like fed nothing but like free range, like it was just eating what it found in the wild, and then the other carcass next to it was a pig that was fed corn and soy. Well, the one that was fed nothing except acorns and pine bark or whatever looked beautiful. Looked like it was this nice full carcass, no fat, good looking chops, loin, whatever. The other one was fatty. You could barely see any meat. This is just fake news. Like, this is just not true. Okay, we feed our animals corn and soy. Now, some people might say that's bad, and yeah, there's definitely some negatives to it. But we're doing the best we can to make it as clean as we can. We source our grain locally. It comes out of Scotland, Connecticut, from Chris Farm. I love those guys. You know, I've never had a problem with their stuff. It's quality. They grow a large portion of what they're milling. I will say I'm sure they buy some in, but they try to stick with Connecticut-grown farms to try to keep, A, the price down, right? Because now you're just looking at trucking.
Right.
And then, and B, to keep the quality up. And in my opinion, they do a great job of that. Their price point is $5, $6 cheaper a 50-pound bag than any local store, you know, and it's fresh.
Right.
It's freshly milled. You can smell it. It smells good. So I saw this meme and I was just like, I got to talk about this crap because there's so many people that are going to believe this. There's so many people that are going to be like,
yeah, I mean, with the direction of food for humans and the getting off seed oils and things like this, right? Which I agree.
Yeah.
Right. But then everybody formulates their own opinion and
Sure.
they see something on the internet, which is always true. I mean, so it's easy enough to believe.
Right.
That we're not deceived.
Yeah. No, dude. It's like, someone's got to talk about this crap because it happens it's not just unique to the quiet corner of Connecticut.
Right.
You know, it's got to be happening in every corner in America.
Yeah.
You know, we're not a microcosm of whatever. So, I saw that and I talked about it on my last show, and you know, the fact of the matter is that's just not true. And what I went on to talk about is animals that are fed free feed, basically, just because the price is good. You know, the consumer might be paying half of what they're paying with me,
Right.
but they're literally getting like a quarter of the meat,
Right.
and zero quality.
Yeah.
You know, I've had people that have requested pigs to just be fed milk. These are farmers I've talked to and stuff. Yeah, Stella Rosa Black. What's that one?
They're not necessarily local.
Okay.
But I bought them from B's liquor store.
Okay, that's local. That's local. Yeah, man. But yeah, so it's like things like that just like drive me crazy, and make me want to talk about it, you know. And I wish I was taking photos while we're processing pork, so people can literally see, like, hey, you know, Daigle Farm took this photo of their pork. This is what they feed theirs. This is how they're raised. Thank you, sir. And it doesn't look like this fake news meme, you know. But then,
Stuff.
yeah, I mean, there's false
It's an
advertising.
uphill battle.
Yeah, it is.
Always an uphill battle, right? Because you're constantly having to convince people that what you have
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
is
Another clink clang.
Yeah.
an, that what you're selling is a better product, right? And why, right? And then somebody
Fruity.
puts something out on the internet, and you're like, great, we're back to square one.
We're back to square one because how many people are going to believe this crap? You know, and what's even more ironic is that kind of false information actually helps our business.
Oh,
Because
okay.
people are like, oh, look at this, you know, local pasture-raised pork or whatever. It's going to be better quality. So yes, that actually is true. But what is not true is the look of those photos. That is just not reality.
Yeah.
It's just not reality, you know. But whatever.
But that's why I encourage people to go to your local farms, get to know where your food's coming from, and just know it from there, not from some meme on the internet.
It's really the only, like, if people, they always say, like, I want to make a difference. Like, you want to make a difference, you need to buy stuff from people you know. That is kind of the only way to change things.
That's what we are all about.
Yeah, dude. I am too, man. We're trying this new thing for 2025, like minimal grocery, like.
Yeah.
As infrequently as we possibly can, we'll go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to wean myself off of sugar in my Two Dogs coffee every morning.
Oh,
it's impossible.
Yeah, that's good coffee.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, but if there's any coffee you could drink black, it's that one.
I have no problem.
Yeah.
You know, but like this year I've gone from a tablespoon to like, you know, a leveled tablespoon to just the front half of the spoon to just the tip of the spoon, and now I've got like this little spoon I'm using, and I'm almost there.
Yeah,
I'm almost off the sugar cane.
For me, coffee was not usually for sugar. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tea to me, if I have tea, I'm like honey or sugar. Yes.
Yeah.
But for coffee, it's always been cream, and now I do an organic heavy cream.
Sure.
But it's fun to buy that local milk that's like raw milk and that stuff at the top.
Got the cream.
You put that in there, the cream. But then it takes away that. Now you drink. If you take too much of that, now you're drinking skim milk.
Yep.
In the milk part. So, but no, I'm with you there with the getting rid of sugar or cutting out as much sugar as you can, and you know, trying to just eat local and be a little healthier. For me, is portion control. I love healthy food. It doesn't even have to be a dessert, and I will still overeat. The heck out of it.
Yeah. I mean, those bratwursts I brought you guys. I've been known to eat a package by myself.
You're supposed to put something with them?
Hey, fry up some eggs.
Ooh, actually, that sounds pretty good.
I put eggs over everything.
Oh, nice.
I went to Australia twice, not to brag.
No, that's great, man.
But they put eggs and beets on everything, and I'm not into beets, but like their Aussie burger usually had an egg on it.
Oh. Did you try any Vegemite?
Vegemite, I did. Yes, that is a powerful taste.
What is that?
It sounds like it's fake.
It does sound like it's fake. It's definitely an Australian thing.
I feel like it's like the stems of veggies in a peanut butter type form, because it tastes nothing like peanut butter.
You're not selling it well, man. No. You're not selling it well.
No, I mean, you put a little bit on your pinky and man, it'll take you back.
What do you put it like a sandwich?
It's supposed to be like crackers. You know, you put it like a smear or like
okay.
You know, like just you put it on stuff like
Vegemite.
Yeah, it's awful.
I don't even know where you'd find it up here.
Another country that really likes their beer room temperature.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. England.
Foster's.
Yeah. A lot of their beers are served room temperature. It's just the thing. Their eggs are always on the shelf. They're never in the refrigerated section of their.
Weird. Ours too.
Right.
We don't refrigerate them.
Right, because you don't wash that membrane.
The albumin. Oh, actually, the albumin's a white part in the egg. They call that the bloom on the outside of the egg. I think there's a little bit of like misinformation with that too. You don't want to sell a consumer an egg that literally has feces on it.
Right.
Like as cool as they are with like fresh. I've had some diehard people be like, hey, you know, the eggs are a little bit dirty this week. I'm like, yeah, I had less time. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
What we like to say is we don't wash them, we buff them. I've got like this little scrubby. It takes the crap right off them. If it ruins the bloom, so be it. Most people refrigerate their eggs anyway, so you know it kind of doesn't matter. We've never had an issue. I've actually had one person since I was 16 with chickens, that returned a dozen eggs. Yeah, I still haven't had this happen.
All 12?
Well, 9.
I was gonna say
9.
They had to try a few.
They had to try a few, right? So they cracked one open and they called me like immediately. And this is when I was doing Sunday morning egg route. And they were like, "This egg smells like pneumonia." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you want to do about it?" And they're like, we want to return these eggs. I'm like, okay. So they were local. You know, I'm 17. I'm just trying to do the right thing. I don't want to get anybody sick. Blah blah blah. I'm
Yeah.
paranoid of all that shit, stuff, whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I go there and I'm like, all right, well, this egg that you have here doesn't really smell like anything to me. Why don't we open a couple more? That's why it was 9 and not 12.
Oh, okay. So you open them with them.
Yeah, I was like, let's open them up. I want to know. Nothing. It's a crazy person. So I took them back, and I never sold them a single thing ever again.
And you ate all 9 of them.
Oh yeah,
Without throwing them out. Yeah.
without any question. Dude, like we're going on. I'm gonna be 30 in March. I started eggs when I was 16. What's that? 14 years. 1 dozen returned in 14 years. You know how many
Hey,
dozen
kudos.
I've created? You know what I mean?
Somebody clarified Vegemite. You were very wrong.
Oh.
It's a thick, brown, shiny paste. It's made from brewer's yeast. What's left at the bottom of the barrel when beer is made.
Okay, so I didn't know what it was. I said it's like they're taking the stems of the vegetables because it's gross.
And you thought, veggie.
And it is brown like peanut butter, but it's also a spread, so whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm sure there's inaccuracies in what I thought it might be, but I've tried it and it's terrible,
I
so I
thought
didn't have to look into it.
Well, we had to fact
I wasn't
check.
looking for the local
You hired me
Vegemite
to be
dealer.
a fact checker.
Wait a second.
Hey, you go for it.
Might
if you
have
want
just stumbled upon a huge idea right here. Local Vegemite.
My wife and I have only met one person that likes it in our circle. And
Wow.
our circle is pretty big.
Well, I've met nobody, so
We have huge families and friend circles, and we have one person that just
Somebody's got to
loves
like it, or they wouldn't sell any.
you would think, right?
Yeah, there's different palates all around the world. That's why
Yeah,
we have so many different types of food.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's these wines are really good, but like there's some people that don't like that.
Yeah, this next wine is pretty tasty. Yeah, you got
a
this
little
at Big-
carbonation.
It's almost carbonated,
Is that
or
a
maybe it is.
sulfite? Is that a sulfite I taste? Maybe a phosphate?
I don't know.
Definitely a chemical.
Definitely something. No, it's good though. It's
Includes 4 grams of added sugars.
oh damn.
Oh,
That's all
that
right.
would be the grape taste.
Yeah. yeah. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. No, it's pretty good.
This won't help your addiction to the cane.
Yeah, right. To the cane. I am addicted to the cane. Yeah. I'm trying, man. It's tough. Even living on a farm and eating, growing our own food, like it is tough to get away from it.
For sure.
The coffee though, that's because you've been doing something the same forever, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I'm gonna make this transition, and then you make the coffee, and you're like, this is gross.
This is gross.
And then you go back, and it's like, well, all right, I'll get there one day.
Yeah. I was that close to switching to mushroom coffee before I met Brittany and Gwillem. Just to try something different. I'm sure I would have liked it. There's all these health benefits they say.
I've had it.
Is it good?
It's good. It's all right.
Okay.
It's better to do half and half, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
mix.
Gwillem and Brittany are ruining people. I was quite the coffee snob before.
Yeah.
And it's getting worse every year.
It's accelerated. Yeah.
Can only have like their coffee, Chubby Dog. There's a few around that I just love.
Yeah.
We haven't had a bad experience from any of the
No.
4 or 5 roasters we've had on here.
Yeah.
And I won't even think about the orange and red one or the green one
Or
there.
blue or red. Or whatever.
those corporate
Yes. Yeah.
serving dirty swill.
Big coffee. Just as bad as big chicken.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
it's corporate America, man.
I know. Without it, we have nothing really.
The crazy part is when you think about this, right? And you think about these companies, they all started as one.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
With limited funding,
Mm-hmm.
and then they blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just as these organizations grow, it's hard to keep the culture of one,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you can do it.
Mm.
It's hard and it's way more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then they don't.
Yeah.
But also there's like when they go public and they're beholden to
Correct.
Shareholders.
shareholders,
Yeah,
that
you gotta meet.
like your culture's gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
At
yeah.
that point, it's about the numbers.
Like you're gonna get more PTO? That's crazy.
I haven't heard that term in a long time. Man.
Oh, you don't have
you don't get PTO?
Never heard of it.
Your boss is a jerk.
Yeah.
I want to meet him.
He kind of is, actually. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, Mother Nature's the boss. You know,
Yeah,
I
that's-
work with what she lets me work with. Sometimes she's not the best.
In the end, that's kind of like a brag. You know, that's kind of like a cool thing. You know, I work with Mother Nature. You know, not against her, not you know.
Yeah, we don't work. That's a
kinda
good
cool.
point, actually. Yeah, we don't work against her. We work as with her as we possibly can. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
Without her, there's literally nothing that we have. So, you know, thanks, Mother Nature. yeah, right, yeah.
Knock on wood.
Right, yeah, my greenhouse will freeze solid tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Mine will too, but
Yeah.
that's 'cause half of it doesn't have a wall.
Yeah.
Now, has there been issues with how warm it was the last 3 years? Is it better, worse? Is there certain things that are worse off because of the warm?
There's a lot of bugs. I can tell you
Okay.
that. There's a lot
Oh.
of bugs. We've had to.
Even with this cold.
Yeah, it's not cold enough.
I was talking about the 3
not
years
cold enough.
prior. This year's been pretty cold.
Yeah. Well, last year we had that Arctic blast came through. It was like negative 22
Yeah.
that night. I got to tell you, we were
One
up all night that night stoking stoves, and my greenhouse stove was friggin' roaring. I had flames coming out of the front of it, and it was still like 2 degrees in there.
Wow.
Like,
I mean, there's no insulation.
there's nothing.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
the 6 film it's nothing. It's literally nothing. And you know, luckily the crops survived. We covered everything inside with more frost cloth, but that only gives you like a 5-degree buffer.
Yeah.
So at best, stuff was 5 degrees. You know,
Wow.
it killed a few broccoli plants. Didn't even.
Nobody wants broccoli anyway.
I
You'd be
love broccoli.
surprised, Kyle, man, dude.
I love broccoli and asparagus and Brussels sprouts. I'm a green guy.
Yeah, dude, brassicas. That's the group of plants. That
Oh, okay.
a lot of the asparagus isn't a brassica, and but broccoli, cabbage, kohlrabi, kale, all that stuff is in the same kind of family.
Brussels sprouts came back roaring in restaurants with like fancy
The charred Brussels sprouts.
they're so
Uh,
good.
You can get them at burger shops now.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
everywhere.
My
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy them from there.
Well,
They
you know what
probably
I
have
mean,
the
though. You know, I mean,
250
they're that
chemicals.
common.
on
They're that common. My
Yeah.
wife makes really good charred Brussels sprouts with a homemade honey mustard sauce. It's
oh
like
yeah,
to die for.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
We're trying to grow some this year. We grew some 2 seasons ago that we had for Thanksgiving, but it was only like 4 or 5 plants for us.
Oh, okay.
Cassidy's pretty hell bent on trying to like really get a crop because we see the potential in Brussels sprouts, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a totally different like.
I thought let
finesse.
it like that category was like hardy, you know, like easy to grow.
They
Hardy
are.
in the cold.
Hardy in the
Yeah.
cold, shoulder seasons like spring and fall.
Yeah.
They love to grow then. But the
Yeah.
thing is
Like snap peas and sugar
snap peas are great,
Yeah.
but stuff loves to eat brassica stuff.
Oh.
Like so, cabbage worms are like the number one. If you grown broccoli before,
Yeah.
you have
Broccoli. Oh, yeah.
So have you
Yeah,
soaked
you
it
have
in
to soak it in salt water.
to get the worms out?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you
And
get extra protein.
That was,
you know.
Well,
during
that's not bad.
It's not
pregnancy
bad.
number.
That's not bad.
That was during pregnancy number 2. I think that was kind of the original. Is soaking in the sink and there's worms are coming out.
At least you're not eating
She
them.
was like, well, she was running to the to the bathroom.
Oh, gotcha,
she couldn't
gotcha.
take it. Those green vegetables were so tough for her.
Yeah. No kidding.
So
But there's a big market for them.
right,
You know,
for sure.
fresh broccoli.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things people just buy it. They
Yeah.
don't really care.
Oh
what
yeah.
It costs.
Most people just buy it because they don't realize.
Yeah.
What
I don't
like,
think anybody knows what vegetables cost because they're all done by weight and stuff. And you get to the
Now you're talking. Now you're talking. So we don't do a lot of the weight game on our farm. It's
Okay.
by the unit, and that's
okay.
because like the weight game works sometimes. Sometimes it's fair both ways, but I don't really think it's fair both ways most of the time. I think if you're a farmer and you got your crops dialed in, you know what kind of to expect for a harvest, depending on what you're growing, and you know, of course, there's variables. It's kind of like why we do our turkeys at a flat rate, right? Because turkeys convert grain. You know, this variety of turkey's been studied for 50 years. It converts grain the same no matter what. It's going to take about 100 pounds of grain to grow a turkey in 5 months. Okay, so if you know that, you know what your actual cost is as a farmer. You know what your cost to bring that bird on the farm is. So what is this by the pound game? Because you can rip people off a little bit at the end of the season. I get it. You know, they got to make their nut too. But, you know, I've seen $250 turkeys.
Wow. That's
what
crazy.
are we doing? What they're selling turkeys.
Those are called extra organic.
Extra money. Okay. They do this thing in the turkey business on a I say local scale, but like bigger than what I'm doing. They'll sell a heritage turkey and then they'll sell like a commercial turkey. And for some reason, there's a difference in the cost. They'll make the argument that heritage turkeys convert grain at a slower rate, so they take a little bit more grain, a little bit more time, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really matter when people are paying by the pound. Really, it doesn't matter. If you're going to buy a heritage turkey, it's like buying organic anything. There's nothing there. You're paying for the word heritage. There's fundamentally no difference other than the color of the turkey. And at the point that you eat it, they all look the same. So it could say heritage and it could literally be no different than the commercial turkeys. You as a consumer have no difference. So why even market it to people?
Okay.
It seems deceptive to me.
Yeah.
Why give them an option that's not even important? It doesn't matter. You're charging a few more dollars a pound, saying that it costs you more to do, but no, it don't. Sorry. There's a lot of that going on. You know, I don't want to like turn people off of buying local food. I think that people should shop and, like insurance, what fits your lifestyle.
Right.
You know, we're not going to fit everybody's lifestyle because we do delivery and we're not open year round and we don't do farmers markets. So you're not going to see us in the public unless we're delivering, which we do every Thursday and Friday from Woodstock to Mystic and everywhere in between.
Wow.
Yeah, we go, Woodstock is our most northern. We were doing a little bit of Sturbridge. I had a friend up there from high school, but you know,
What's the delivery fee?
no delivery fee as long as you get $30 worth of material. If you're within 5 miles of the farm, which you are, sir, there is no delivery minimum.
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah, I'd feel bad though if you,
We both are.
if you delivered 12 eggs.
Dude,
to my
listen, we get that all the time, but if we don't deliver, we're not making money.
Oh, okay.
You know, so if you're going to go and buy them at the store as opposed to buying them from me, that's your call. You know what you know what I'm saying?
Is it cash on delivery or you do Venmo?
We do Venmo, cash. You can leave us a check, or you can pay through emailed invoicing through QuickBooks. So a lot of people actually
did. The electrician did me that. I thought that was really cool.
Super easy.
Also got their money very quickly.
Hey, by design, okay?
What, is there a delay with Venmo?
No, there's not. But like the work was done, and I asked, I was like, oh, just send me a bill, and then I got like an email with a link. It said click to pay here, and through QuickBooks it brings you right to the app.
That's it.
Pay.
Yep.
Wow.
We do the same thing.
I still like cash.
Me too.
We got to get back to cash.
We got to get back.
Tips?
We do have a gratuity thing on there. Yeah, we do.
Oh, for like delivery, like like we tip pizza guys, we tip everybody.
No,
so.
I get it, and you know, it's funny. I've noticed that in my business, not everybody tips. That's fine. I never had a job where I got tipped ever in my life. I always had like a
Delivering eggs on a Sunday, you never got tipped?
Oh, yeah. That.
Oh, okay.
A 17-year-old boy in this crappy Honda.
He's a man now.
Yeah. They're like, oh, forget you, dude, you know. But it is real. You know, optics are everything in sales. And being a 17-year-old boy going door to door every Sunday morning so I can put gas in my car is a better story.
Did you ride a bike like the kid in Paperboy and Nintendo?
Kyle, I'm going to tell you a story. Cassidy and I both went to St. James for, elementary. Yeah. That's actually where we met. Not where we started dating, but that's where we met each other years ago. And then St. James. Oh, my God. I lost my train of thought.
Talking about Paperboy bike?
Cassidy.
Yes. we do fundraisers at the school. And one of them was to sell chocolate bars, right? You get a box of 50 of these bad boys, okay? And then you go and sell them to, people, family mostly. But I would go on my bike, and I would strap that box to my bike, and I would go door to door selling candy bars in my neighborhood. And I would clean up, man.
You're
okay?
like an entrepreneur at a young age.
Oh, yeah.
The first thing I ever sold was my school photo. Hold on. The only one
He's
that
a
ever
model.
no. Far from it. Far from it, all right? The only one that bought it was my grandma, okay? So purely sympathy.
And you sold it.
And
to her.
of course I sold it. You want two? You know? That was the first, that's the first memory I have of selling.
Pity commission is still commission.
Yes. You know, it doesn't matter how you get there, you know, as long as you get there. So I've always been trying to sell stuff. I don't have any formal college education. I almost got an associate's at community school, but it just, you know, I was going for a year and a half, and I think I still have like 9 credits. But I went to talk to my counselor one day, and they had me enrolled in a totally different program that I thought I was in for a year and a half. And they were just kind of like, well, that's kind of how it goes. And I'm like, well, what did I just pay for?
I have a question for you because Brandon's asked it twice.
Sure.
2 different.
Brandon Long?
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon.
He asked it on here, and then I missed it, and he messaged us. So I'm going to ask.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So do you do fruit trees?
Yeah, I planted 9 fruit trees 2 years ago.
What kind of fruit?
So I did a heritage variety called Arkansas Black, which you don't
These
see.
are apples?
Yeah, these are all, oh, yeah, sorry. These are all apples. Duh.
And you're using the word heritage? Didn't we already?
I'm messing up here. You know, that's not a variety you see often, so I saw it on the list where I buy from. I said, I got to try it. So I put a few of those in. I put in some Golden Delicious because I like those.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah, I mean.
That reminds me of my grandmother.
Hey,
Always
see, look
had
at that.
those.
Food is so tied to people's memories. That's another thing that
you had me. Well, you let me know when it's in when I can come pick.
Yeah. Chemical-free apples at our farm. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Those are tough. It's tough to grow.
Tough to grow. Oh wait. Okay. So.
So speaking of tough to grow, he asks if you've ever had to treat them for plum Kirkleo.
No.
Okay. I don't know. What is that?
I
would have said it would only affect plums, and I'm probably wrong.
From what it sounds like, it could either be a bug or some kind of fungus. I don't actually know. I put these trees in about 2 years ago. I used to work on a wholesale plant nursery where we would grow container culture, they call it, for all these nurseries all over New England. So I started off as a delivery guy there. I didn't know a lot about plants, and then I worked my way up into inside sales and shipping department. So I learned a lot about plants. And so I still have a pretty good relationship with the grower over there and the owner. So last year I put in these apples, 2 years ago I put these apples in from that farm, local farm. I put in 5-year-old apple trees. They're 6 feet, ready to produce. The first year they had apples when I put them in. The next year they didn't even flower. So what happened was the deer came through that fall, chewed up the leaves like mad, stunted the growth of those trees, killed 2 of them. I had to replace 2 of them. And
Not cheap.
Not cheap. Better wholesale. You know, I got a wholesale price, but still not cheap. You know, it's an investment.
Yeah.
You know, you're watching something grow. It's an investment, no matter what. And so I put in the replacements this past spring, and everything kind of flushed out. The foliage flushed out. Everything looked good. Still didn't get any flowers, but didn't have the deer problem because I used neem oil mixed with a little bit of Dawn dish soap, which really does help keep the bugs down, and deer don't like it either. Deer don't like the smell of neem, and they really don't like the taste of soap. Not many things do. So the phosphates in the soap, from what I understand, help dry out the exoskeleton of most bugs. So it kind of kills them a little bit, not on contact, but over time. And then the neem kind of keeps the animals away from eating it because it produces this.
Oh, it's a bug.
It is a bug. It sounded like a bug to me.
They bite like a half moon in the fruit.
Okay.
And then obviously the fruit becomes deformed. And
this was a guy named Brandon.
Brandon Long, Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I live in a cave. It's not really a farm. It's a cave. You know, I don't know anybody.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. This is a rare thing.
Brandon's an avid listener, and he's a local business owner.
Yeah, he said the last 2 years they've lost stuff to him. Yeah.
I wonder if he's used any kind of sprays.
Knowing him, he probably tries to stay away from it.
Well, I mean, like, I'm using neem oil, which is derived from a tree. So, like, it's natural. We use a garlic oil on most of our vegetable crops, and that does a really good job because it smells like, bad.
Yeah,
it smells great.
I read a thing about if you plant garlic under roses, it helps bugs or worms stay off the roses.
Yeah, because garlic, nothing likes. Nothing likes the smell.
And
Other than
marigold.
us.
Yeah.
Marigold.
Yeah, but we don't like the smell of it necessarily. I mean, roasted garlic, but
Yeah, well, so if it's roasted, it's okay.
if it's coming off a human, you're like, yeah.
Understood. You said earlier you put in like 200 this past fall.
Right around between the garden plus the.
What
thing.
variety?
Oh God, not elephant.
Okay, good.
So name one other one.
Hardy white German.
Is
They're
there a
definitely
heritage?
white.
Is it heritage? Yeah. Music is a variety.
I don't know. She would know. I don't
Okay.
know.
Hey, I get you.
Yeah, it was just. I know it was an elephant. I know that was like a thing.
Gotcha.
And they were hard stalks,
Yep,
not
yep.
braidable.
Yep.
Even though I tried braiding them.
You could braid. So I did this a couple years ago too. I was like, oh, garlic braids would be a hot item, man. People would love that.
Yeah.
So I went through the process of like gently, well, not gently, but breaking all the stems in multiple places so that they were a little bit more pliable.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's
Doesn't
it's
work.
Better to get the kind that comes out like ribbons.
Right.
And
But you can't grow it.
and just,
The soft necks?
so I have a cousin
Mm.
whose daughter does it and sends them a couple of broccoli blades with like it's like 4 or 5 things on it.
Chunks.
They hang it up in the kitchen. It's
No
cool
kidding.
looking.
Wow.
It's all braided. I'm trying to think of where they are. Are they the ones from Massachusetts? So I don't. It's not a huge difference in climate.
No, it actually should be less likely to grow.
Oh,
but
they're
that's,
warm. So maybe it's their kid from the south. I'll have to ask.
no, it's totally possible that they
Yeah.
are getting away doing some soft neck garlic. The conditions would probably have to be perfect. It's just not conventionally done in the north.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Hard neck garlic is
Makes sense. They have kids in North Carolina too. So maybe
Gotcha.
Maybe that's where it's coming from. But I remember I see it like almost every year they get sent or they grab it when they're visiting
garlic.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a nice braid.
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool
Looks
looking.
good. Yeah, tastes
Yeah.
great.
And I was like, I came home and we were doing the garlic. You know, you pull it out like June, July, something
Yeah.
in there, and
Depending.
and then you replant it in right before your first frost, if you can predict.
Yeah. You know, I should probably pay better attention to those benchmarks. But it's just like I got time
the
today. Let's
weathermen
put it in. You know.
lie.
And
They
you get
lie.
you
Yeah.
get volunteers every year.
Yeah,
you get
right.
more.
That's true.
Than you forget where they are,
Yep.
or you don't get them all, and they come back up and stuff like that. So yeah, the hard stocks, you know, you try and braid them together.
I've done it with onions.
I was like
Onions are
trying to do
okay.
that one night, and she's like, "You're drunk." Steve."
Good luck with that. Yeah. We put in a little over 1,300 cloves this fall of garlic, and we don't do the elephant either. I think the elephant's all hype. It's marketing mostly. You know. Yeah, I'll have a little splash. Thank you, sir. So we do a white and then we do a red, and that seems to be enough variety.
Okay.
But again, like garlic doesn't. Nobody's like. You know, I want a specific type of garlic. I don't ever run into that.
I
Nor
can't
does
say that-
anybody even know the price.
Yeah, dude, nobody. So that's another one of those crops that you could literally slap whatever you want on it, and people are going to buy
Couldn't
it.
tell you. Couldn't
know?
even tell you. Be like, ooh, this looks delicious.
Right.
right,
You know?
especially when you braid it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna ask for. You guys have that braided
I
garlic?
want that braided garlic.
I heard it on a podcast somewhere.
Do you do anything with the garlic scapes?
Oh yeah, we make
Okay.
pesto.
Yep,
So
that's what we do too.
It's
yeah.
so good.
What about garlic knots? You have those?
Oh man, you know what? That's actually a really
Can't
good
make
idea.
a garlic knot.
Once we get the commercial kitchen,
Oh,
we'll be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Now,
Nice.
neither one. You guys haven't come to the farm, either one of you, right?
I have not.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
No, it's cool. Listen, hey, this is the first time in your basement,
Oh,
so all
we're
right,
gonna
you
be
know.
there.
Lucky you.
We're the #1 podcast is recorded live Monday nights at 6.
Yeah. But like our barn I just built, I'm already seeing it not being a chicken barn soon. I'm seeing it being a grocery store type venue, converting the whole chicken space into the store and doing like on-site grocery store
Yeah.
vibes instead of like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
little stand type thing, you know. Then I got to build another barn, which is probably inevitable anyway, you know.
I gotta say, I've been to a few farm stands where they're not manned, and I'm like, should I have brought an air horn?
Right. Yeah. We have a little button you could press, but it
Yeah.
only rings in my apartment. So if I'm somewhere else, I don't even know you're there, you know? But again, when the stand's open, we keep an eye on the driveway. We got a long driveway, so we can see you coming, kind of.
Yeah.
And then we try to get there by the time you get to the stand.
You hit the
know?
string with the can.
Yeah. yes. Someone's here. Yeah. And it's like the more we grow, it's like the farm is getting bigger. So like I'm walking so much more and more.
Yeah.
And,
How many acres you got over there?
the farm itself, like the property, is a little under 40, but a lot of it's swampy. And we're not like the farmers that are like, let's just fill it in because legally we can. We're not trying to do that.
You could plant weeping willows. They suck up the water a lot.
They do. They do.
That's
We
a big
have
thing down
some native willows that actually came up around the pond we made.
Okay.
That we didn't plant. They just came up one day, and they're pretty nice. Yeah. Something we've been talking about because we're clearing a big portion of land on the farm, probably about 7-ish acres total. More for pig production, but the other space I want to do, the pick your own cherries or something a little bit more niche. I've looked into like hazelnuts. We've talked about cranberries because everybody thinks you got to grow cranberries in water. That's just how they harvest them.
Right, they flood the bog.
Yeah, and then they drive a machine over it that knocks all the berries off, and then they drive it. Then they just suck all the berries up with a vacuum. Like you don't need a bog. I mean, cranberries are about the same size as a blueberry, and that's all picked by hand. So why would you not just pick cranberries by hand? It's because of the height of the bush. Blueberries are up here, cranberries are down here. So most people don't want to be down that low for that long. Picking all these little berries.
But they don't need extra water?
They don't need extra water. In fact, because they're a native plant, they're pretty well adapted to our climate. No
that's
problem.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So cranberries, like we're trying to look at these specialty things, like fresh cranberry sauce with your Thanksgiving turkey.
Oh yeah.
Come on, dude.
Right now, mine comes from Trader Joe's. So
Hey, you know what I'm saying? We'll change that. We'll change that.
You start picking your own cranberries, we'll start talking.
Maybe that could be the pick your own is cranberries. People would be blown away.
Hold on, now you're telling me I have to go.
Pick your own sauce. And then, I was trying to think the other day because we have all this land that we're opening up to do new stuff, new crops. I'm like, the jobs I've had over the years, what have I learned at those jobs that I could like implement more of? And one of them is like shrub culture, growing shrubs like arborvitaes or tree form hydrangeas or tree form roses, specialty stuff that people like, and you're not eating it. So I'm trying to move it a little bit into that, selling them in burlap balls, not in pots. They're grown in the ground, so they grow a little bit, different grow rate. There's a lot to it, but I think that would help us diversify and really use this land that we're clearing out.
All right. For delivery, I would like some milk, some eggs.
Sure.
Oh, you do milk.
2 dogs coffee.
We work with
and an arborvitae.
You're off season on the arborvitae, but as soon as they're ready, no problem. We work with Woodstock Creamery, so we sell all their milks, their skyr, which is like the yogurt they sell and make. It's really good.
Ooh.
Skyr is like an ice. Have you had skyr?
No.
Okay.
Never even heard of it.
Never even heard of it either.
It's Icelandic yogurt. I don't know fundamentally what's different other than the texture. It's a little thicker. It's really good. I haven't gone back to Greek.
Still has probiotics.
Thicker than what? Greek yogurt?
Thicker than Greek yogurt.
Okay.
It's almost like a ricotta thickness.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's super rich, and they have flavors. Like they do a honey vanilla, a maple, triple berry, chocolate mousse. Dude, like really good stuff. And that's all on the menu. So we drop it off at your house.
Well, if you're eating those, that's got the cane in it.
I know, dude. I know. Trust me. I'm trying, man. All right. It's tough. It's in everything. It's in freaking batteries. Like you can't get away from it. It's
Are you sucking on batteries?
No, but you know what I'm saying. If it's in that, it's in everything.
Yeah.
And we also do sourdough, English muffins, and what's this week? Scones. We're doing triple chocolate scones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 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 So we recently brought a baker on board. Actually, she's more of a culinary chef.
Kim.
Chef Kim is Chef Kim's Dishes. She makes spice blends. That's her primary business, but she is one heck of a cook. She cooked our farm-to-table dinner this past fall, and it was flawless. She did an amazing job.
Did you guys do that in your barn?
We actually bought a party tent, and we did it underneath that. We have another barn on the property that is my dad's primarily, and it's mostly just storage. And I'm like 85% of the way of convincing him to let us use it. Because, he's rarely there.
Yeah, but
really
if he's
much.
if he's what you call a pack rat or
Yes.
porter.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they need buildings. for that.
Yeah.
Hold on
dude.
a minute. Hold on a minute. If
Yeah.
he's rarely there,
Yeah.
could it just be converted sometime?
Yeah, it's like you dance.
Send him over here if he's upset. We'll talk it out on a podcast.
Oh, dude, he would talk to you for an hour about your saw collection. Okay, just one at a time, dude. It's his space. Like this barn I'm in now, I built it. I built it. It's not like he built it and is using it. I built it from the ground up, and it's my space. His space, I don't. I've already taken over so much of the property now that.
Oh, it's the fridge. Sorry about the buzzing.
There's
If you hear it.
some feedback.
I think it. Oh yeah, I hear a little bit. Not bad though. Huh?
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway.
Can't fix it.
Yeah. And his barn is all post and beam, just kind of like mine, and it's all milled off the farm. We have a buddy with a mill, so we just cut down trees, bring him the logs, and make what we got to make. And his barn's like, I want to say it's like a 30 by 40 print, where mine is 20 by 30. So his is a little bit bigger and much nicer for venue space, events, having our craft fair in the spring.
Yeah.
We started doing movie nights on the farm where we just show a movie. It's free admission. We grow popcorn, so that's kind of to get you in the door. You got to buy the popcorn, but it's $1 a bag. And we have this old school like popcorn machine. We pop it there, and
That's so cool.
we try to, we
Do kettle corn?
Definitely text us those dates. Like those are summer
Making
nights.
it tricky, Kettle corn would be awesome.
Hang on a minute.
It was my first job, so I always, when I hear popcorn, I always, and I did it forever.
No kidding.
The guy,
For some of us, kettle corn's too sweet.
Oh,
so
too much cane.
So I'm 40, and I started doing that for this guy when I was 14. Nobody did it. He actually brought the kettle from California. It did not even exist on the East Coast yet.
Wow.
And so he had like every fair locked up. We were doing a fair in Gloucesterbury. We lived in Rhode Island. Like he had everything locked up.
God.
And then over time it blew up. But let's get back to you.
Oh yeah.
So these movie nights, they're like a summer night kind of thing?
Yeah. We did one in August. We played Shrek 1. I dressed like Shrek and served people popcorn. It was great. We had
definitely text us those dates.
Yeah.
I'd love to plug that.
Yeah, I would.
That's cool.
And
bring
great if you
kids.
guys could come by.
good. Yeah.
We did one for Halloween. Colder weather, less people. We wanted to do like a kid Halloween movie, so we did Hocus Pocus.
Oh,
and
okay.
then we were gonna do the next night was gonna be like date night horror movie with the original Halloween from 1979, but we ended up canceling that one because the next day was like freaking 15 degrees.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
who's
wow.
coming out at 50? I wouldn't even be out there. Like I'm going.
That's why you
inside.
canceled.
That's why. Yeah, I'm like if I don't want to do it, nobody else wants to do it.
But yeah, let us know because we have another podcast that would plug the Halloween thing.
Oh, yeah, they
Sure.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Groovy. We
Shout
wanted
out to the Brown Brothers.
the Brown. Oh, I think I saw something. You guys were talking about this, weren't you?
That was
Yeah,
our
they've come
Halloween
on a few
special.
times.
Okay, got you.
Ah, so you do.
I listen. Yeah, I
Wow,
listen.
I
I
love it.
watch.
I started listening to yours the other day. I did not get as far as Matt.
Thank you, sir. That's
But I did wonder where you found Kyle from
Kyle.
that you did the podcast with.
Environment.
Yeah, the
environmental guy.
Yeah.
He's a customer. He found us.
No kidding.
He found
Yeah,
us.
that's
He
right. You guys
How
talked
did
about
he
that.
just? He
He was-
searched. He just went on Google and typed in clean chicken or something.
Gosh.
Something near me, and we came up, and then he just sent us a thing. He went to simplygrowingfood.com. We have a whole like register to become a customer, and just like fill out your information and where you live, and do you accept texts and whatever, and all that crap, and then we get you on our weekly email. We've got an email list of it's like 400, 420 people, and then we also do on Facebook private messenger menu, which kind of keeps it niche. We don't put it on our Facebook. Exclusive,
Yeah,
right.
it's like
You gotta
people
want
have the
to be.
FOMO and they got to get in.
Boom. Same thing. It's the same thing. And what else we notice is like when you put it out there to the public, you get so many assholes. Okay, just like asking, never buying, never, ever, ever, ever buying.
Tire
Just-
kicker plague.
Yeah, yes.
I have never heard it called an ask hole.
yes, an asshole. They just continue to ask, and they never support your business. And so you keep it like you're getting a private message. We know you by name. You're a weekly customer. It's a little bit more like you're serious. Solicitation. And then we'll get people that sign up to be on the list to get it, and then we'll solicit for 5 months every week, and they just read it, but they never order anything. I'll eventually just drop them which is probably bad business practice. But at the end of the day, it's like, at some point I feel like I'm bothering you. You know, I'm sending you the same thing for months, and you're not even saying I'm good this week.
But also, at the same time, you dropping them might cue them to be like, wait, I haven't gotten this.
It has helped some people do that same thing. They'll be like, oh, I haven't gotten the menu in a while. And I'm thinking, dude, you haven't ever ordered anything. Of course you haven't got the menu in a while. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm wasting my time, but to some point, I'm wasting both of our times, because you're not a serious customer, and I'm not going to be serious about trying to get you as one if you can't even say anything for 5 months, So we get some of that, but we have a lot of like pretty solid, loyal, repeat. Kyle is one of those people, and he's like an every weeker, and he's in town. He lives right here in Brooklyn.
Yeah. And there's another Kyle.
There's another Kyle.
He's probably better.
Oh, there's probably no doubt. We don't have.
Well, you're in medical, right? He's in environmental. Well, you're in med tech.
Yeah.
Kyle, if you're...
Well, actually, I was a paramedic for 8 years.
Okay.
So
that's gruesome. That's I had a friend doing that. That's something.
Yeah, that's why I got out.
Yeah.
Well, just because it's a brutal.
Yeah. I was an animal control officer for the same reasons I left.
What's interesting is now
that's tough.
Now you still work with animals, almost in a worse fashion.
Well, Kyle. What we like to say is our animals only have one bad day.
That is fair.
Animals at the pound have a lot of bad days. And the worst part about that was the people. Dealing with the people that would have these animals, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I left that job and never looked back. Then I moved into working with plants, and then now I'm a farmer. So,
Yep. Yesterday I couldn't spell farmer. Today I are one.
I are one. I like that. But yeah, man. So, what do you? The pick your own cherries. Way off topic there. Holy crap!
Bring it back. I think it's a while to get back
Pick
to
your
that
own
one.
cherries. Does that sound like something you would do? Do you eat cherries? You guys?
I'm
I
sure
love
my
cherries,
kids
yeah.
love cherries.
I love cherries.
You can't buy a bag without them ransacking it.
Gotcha.
Right away.
Okay, so it's a hot item.
Sure, we would
Yeah.
try it.
I just don't see them.
Pick, you'd really get people if you pick your own pitless cherry.
Oh, see,
That means chemicals, I believe.
No, I think you have to breed them differently.
I don't know.
Is there a pitless
I
cherry?
have no idea.
I don't think there is.
I don't know
That
if
might
there
be
is.
worth a Google.
They're called maraschino when they come in a jar.
We just had this conversation because we were talking about pick your own cherries, and Cassidy was like, "Well, we should grow a maraschino. It's pitless." I'm like, "I don't think they're pitless. I think they're just pitted. I think they just ripped the pit out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And they're definitely not that color red.
If-
No.
If cherries could be pitless, it would be as big as seedless watermelon.
That's-
They don't have it yet.
and that's fallen, too.
almost
They don't have
bet
it
on that.
The movement. People are like, "I want seeds in my watermelon now." It's a whole.
Really?
It's a whole.
I
thing.
don't.
No.
I don't want any seeds.
You're outside eating it at a cookout. You spit them on the ground.
Yeah.
Next summer, you get
a watermelon.
I will say this. Shout out to my 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Carew. One of our last days of the year in Plainfield middle school, or elementary school, rather. We had a watermelon seed spitting contest to see who could spit the furthest.
Wow.
It was a fun day.
How old are you?
40.
This would have been in 1994.
Okay. Times were simpler.
We had a watermelon seed spitting contest. It was hysterical. It was fun.
So yeah, I think people would pick their own cherries.
Okay. I like that feedback. We're always trying to get some feedback. It's tough to get,
Yeah.
and
Especially if it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, that's like I have family members
cherry.
that pick.
$1 cherry. I'd be rich, man. Holy crap.
I have family members that pick absurd amounts of blueberries and strawberries for their like morning shake.
Got
and they
you.
try to pick enough like huge bags of
Oh.
freeze and have them for year round until picking season comes back.
Yeah, I think you can freeze cherries. Right? Freeze those.
Why not?
You can freeze anything.
You can freeze that. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Humans.
Humans, cherries,
Had to
whatever.
go there, didn't you?
Oh boy.
Right now, it's
Yeah.
like 4 degrees out. It's 15.
That's true. It's true.
You can't freeze alcohol.
Valid. Valid.
Yeah.
Although Jaeger's really good coming out of the freezer.
I just watched this whole documentary on Jaeger the other day. I was like,
Oh,
this
really?
is
There's a
disgusting.
documentary?
Okay. 20-minute YouTube in-depth, this is how it happened. I call that a documentary.
Documentary on
You
YouTube.
know, what would you call that?
Some guy with a camera at home.
It could be that.
A docu-reel.
Dude drinking
It's
Jaeger.
a docu-reel.
Docu-reel.
Oh, I
Okay.
just made that up.
That could be a thing.
That could be a madism. Docu-reel.
Ooh,
that a real thing?
madism. I like that.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
when we
lot.
first started this,
Yeah, yeah.
I kept making up words because I don't know if I was nervous on the air or
Yeah,
whatever, but it's like
Madism.
kind of became a thing, and now I'm thinking docu-reel.
Yeah.
I think that's a real
That
thing.
deserves a note, for sure.
He actually never takes notes, so this is actually
Wow. I
So-
feel special.
I wanted to try a new thing for 2025, and that
Okay.
is when we mention a local thing,
yeah.
I want to put it in the comments after.
I already forgot.
Now, usually after the episode, we're pretty spent and or drunk, and
Sure, sure.
So it hasn't happened yet, but shout out to Spirit Rings, Lapsley Orchards, Woodstock Orchards, Bees Liquor, Two Dogs Coffee, Brandon Long Home Improvements, Chef Kim, Brown Brothers Podcast, and DocuReel
That's good.
as
Docu-reel's
the newest
good.
and latest madism.
And Woodstock Creamery, too. They're pretty
Oh,
great.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Okay.
That's on Child Road.
Child Hill Road? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're the only farm with a drive-through window.
I feel like I saw that the other day, and I thought it was strange. But yeah, well, they hand me the yogurt through that. Actually, I can get it from you.
Yep. We'll just leave it on
You're a
your
lot
on your
closer.
front porch. Just
I'm
leave the cooler
local.
out. Yeah.
Really local.
What road do you live on?
This one.
Route 6. Like,
Oh.
I could walk here through the cornfield.
Okay. Yeah, you're definitely
don't.
within 5 miles.
Well, we can't
yeah.
can't really walk here through the way. There's a lot of hunters between here and there.
Yes, yes.
So we don't
Yeah,
we
it's
don't
not
walk
safe.
through that from
It's not
cornfield.
safe.
No.
Wear
You'd
orange.
probably, ironically, be safer on Route 6.
Oh, wow. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Cool. Well, yeah, you're local. Just, hey, if you want to get the menu, just let me know. And we'll,
For sure.
we'll
I
put
want to
you on the
go and
list.
see it. I want to
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. We are going to be
super
doing
excited for that.
tours this season, but if you guys want to just like come by sometime, we'll do a tour. Just the three of us. I'll show you around and show you how it's all done.
We'll buy a bottle
Yeah,
of wine.
we'll,
Hey,
make
man,
sure we,
you
we'll
know.
make sure we hit that can on the way in.
Yeah,
through here, right?
yeah, right. Yeah, we're trying to move more into agritourism. I mean, it's
Yep.
education.
I mean, that's where everybody's going if they want to survive.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about it before, but I had a visiting friend, old friend from Vegas. Him and his adult son came here, and they didn't want to bar hop. They wanted to go
Imagine that.
farm stand hopping.
Wow.
And that's what we did. And that's why I was like, we went
That's
to like
awesome.
3 of them that were unmanned, and we just didn't feel comfortable, so we left. But like, I was like, man, should have brought like a air horn or something. Like,
So you went to 3 different ones and no one was
we
there?
went to like 7 different ones, but 3 of them were
Honor
like
system.
unmanned, so we just didn't. We kind of like walked away. We didn't buy anything or take anything.
See, that's interesting
like-
data. That's interesting. No, it is. I
Well,
mean, because there's people
so
like
there-
that.
but
But
there
they're
wasn't, like-
intentionally unmanned.
Right. No, yeah, for sure.
Well,
for
I
sure.
don't think they were intentionally, but there wasn't like a sign that said just leave the money here, or
Okay.
like a slot to put stuff like
Right.
money, or it didn't have a self checkout or anything like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I had brought cash and everything to make sure, because I knew we were going farm stand
Arm
hopping.
standing. Yeah.
But I just like we got there and we're like looking around. I'm like, this is cool, but they would take pictures and selfies and stuff like that. It was fun.
Oh my goodness.
And
If you're from the city, like,
yeah,
what
there's
else, you
none
know?
of that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was autumn. It was like
Oh, yeah.
beginning of autumn. It
Peak.
was prime
I mean,
time.
you look at like
yeah.
these these like Hallmark movies and stuff. They're driving through Vermont, stopping at
God.
these farm stands, and like people love that.
Dude,
For
Wasn't there
Christmas.
one filmed in Woodstock a few years
Yep.
ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hallmark movie. Yeah, for Christmas. Yeah.
Christmas in Connecticut, I think
Yeah.
it was called.
I knew Kyle would know, but I'm surprised you know it.
He might be a closet Swiftie.
I've never. Oh, wow, wow. I am. I don't even know where to go from that one.
I don't know if this closet anything about this guy.
Pretty open about whatever you want to
He
know.
did say transparency.
Transparency is the whole root of the business, man. You know, knowing where your food comes from, seeing where your food comes from. You know, and some people want to be a part of it. Like I was telling you earlier, people are helping us do Chicken Day, and in exchange just for the knowledge of how to do it themselves for their own family.
Yeah.
You know, and we had a guy. His name's Dave. I don't remember his last name. Thanks, Dave. But he came to one day, and we met him at a market. The local farm that we're going to do the chickens at, they have like these pop-up things they're trying to do because they don't grow a lot of food. So they invited us. They invited Mimby Flower Farm.
Yep.
On
Right there.
160. Yeah,
They
literally
just,
right
actually,
there.
They just got a nice new
Yep.
Yeah.
thing. They do other stuff though. They have like honey and they do.
They're going to
sell
be
too, I think.
putting some of their beehives at our farm this year so they can expand their honey production, and we can get, you know, probably better pricing on wholesale honey.
Oh, nice.
And it'll be made on the farm. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, you know, it's not, I guess technically it's Daigle Farm honey. You would call it Daigle Farm honey, even though it's,
That's where the clover's at, right?
yeah, we got a lot of clover. We put in a big ornamental shrub garden for our customers. So if you come by and you're, you know, at the stand, it's right next to the stand. You can walk it. It's 3 tiers. Cassidy and I, well, mostly Cassidy, she did all the stone walkways in it. I was just in charge of like making sure we had good plants. You know, when is it going to bloom? Are we going to have something year round? Is it, you know, wildlife activity and stuff? So that was kind of my thing. But that's kind of part of like when you come out, you can kind of just stroll through that garden on your own accord. You know, we have seats out there. You can sit out there by the roses if you want to just sit and take it in. Take it in.
Nice.
Just do it. You know. But yeah, so I don't know, man. We've been doing home delivery going on 7 years, and I think more farmers need to do it. I don't think there's any real competition in this industry because literally everybody's a customer.
Right.
Everybody you run into could be a potential customer.
Mhm.
You know, it's not like you're selling a widget or something.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, everybody.
you got to eat, I got to eat. We all ate today, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's probably an
So
American
intermittent fasting's kind of like your nemesis.
thing. Well, dude, you know what's funny is sometimes I will intermittent fast, but not like intentionally. I'll eat dinner and then I won't eat again until like dinner
Yeah.
the next day.
I don't know about you people. I forget to eat. I have such a hard time. I try.
Well, when you have real jobs, then it's,
Oh, here we go.
Hey, he's a realtor, right? That's a real job.
Oh,
it's
thank
in the
you,
name.
thank you.
It's in the name.
Finally, some respect.
Realtor. Okay. I will say though,
Not like coder.
yeah. I will say I had a home and I managed to sell it privately on Craigslist.
wow.
I went the conventional route.
Yeah.
That did not pan out.
Okay.
And desperation
Mm-hmm.
brings out creative solutions. I had rented my home to some people for, you know, a year, and that was just, I wanted to sell it because I was running 2 different locations. I was building 2 different farms. I'm like, this is craziness. I'm the only one that's, you know, this sounds weird to say, but like my dad has no other kids. So this land is inevitably going to be mine at some point. Why was I putting all this effort into 2 spots?
Right.
Granted, they were 2 miles from each other, so it's not like it was a big deal, but it was a lot of wasted effort in my opinion. So I only had like 3 acres, and I had built a new barn there too, but you move, you just keep moving, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I sold that. I had it listed with a real estate agency, and you know, my first experience with real estate selling, and with a professional like yourself, and so far my last. But that doesn't mean I won't do it again. That didn't pan out, so then I had to find a renter.
So he didn't sell it.
He didn't sell it.
Doesn't sound like a professional like me.
Well, I'll give you the name after the show. No, you need to know it. You need to know it.
I mean, it's a very different market today as it was like between 08 and 14. I mean,
I sold it in 2020
oh wow,
at the height of the crazy.
okay.
When people were like, well, they're still hemorrhaging ridiculous amounts of money for nothing. But I mean, then was even crazier.
So then you went to Craigslist.
Then I went to Craigslist. So I rented it for a year, and I was telling these people because they wanted to buy it. They were like, yeah, selling me the dream.
Mm-hmm.
They were selling me the dream.
Yeah,
they weren't ever going to buy it. They didn't have any credit. They couldn't, whatever. So I gave them a whole year, and every time I saw them, they always paid rent. They were fine people. It was nothing like that. But every time I saw them, I was like, hey, you guys making any headway on that pre-approval? You guys find a mortgage company you want to work? Have you found anybody? And I would send them to mortgage agents, like, just, hey, check this person out. I work with them. Never rolled the ball. So, like, I was telling them, like, 1st of September, I'm listing this house. I don't know what's going to happen. I've never done this, but I'm putting it on Craigslist. I don't know how this is going to go. So I listed it end of August, and in 3 days, somebody came up, toured it, deposited, done deal. And they bought it. And they bought it. I still had tenants in it. Then my tenants kind of tried to, like, drag their feet, give me a little bit of a hard time as a landlord. Like, I'm not the bad guy here. I was telling them for a year, like, I gotta sell this place. It's the most logical thing for my life. Might not be for yours, but here we are.
Right.
So I ended up listing it on Craigslist. It sold. Really nice people. And then they're customers now. There's people that bought my house. So I'm still going to my old house, like, not regularly, but from time to time I stop in and drop off some food. And they ended up finding out that in the state of Connecticut, the owner of the property, I guess, has more rights than the squatters if the owner wants to live in it. So they were like, we'll just buy you out because you can't, like, I couldn't go there and be like, hey guys, I'm moving in with you.
Okay.
Technically I could, but then that would create a lot of problems. So they were like, we'll just buy it, we'll sign, and we'll just evict them because we're going to live in it. We have every intention to live in it. So the state's on our side. We'll just do that route.
Yeah.
Sweet
during
deal.
COVID, that was such a tough time.
Dude, it was weird. You're in it still. I mean, it was weird.
It was some wild times.
We ended up doing cash for keys.
Yep.
Just to, and dude, when it says midnight, it was midnight. Middle of a snowstorm. Okay, they call me. Luckily, I'm right down the road, but it's like, you guys, why are you doing this? I was nothing but good to you.
Right,
we had a great relationship, and now you're just making it hard. I didn't want to get rid of them. I didn't want to do all that to them. They had kids. It was, and I probably will never be a landlord again because of this experience. It was just, it's not just business.
Right.
It just isn't.
Right.
Maybe people can look at it like that.
Their home.
It's their home.
Yeah.
It's not like you're taking a ham out of their freezer.
Yeah.
You're like taking the roof over their head.
Right.
And people make their own choices, and they made theirs, and I was just a part of that whole situation, and I don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah.
I was thankful to sell my house on Craigslist. I take that as divine intervention. That's how that was supposed to go. The people were supposed to go that route, and I'm in the middle. I'm where I'm at now. It was weird.
All right, I'll email you some multifamilies on.
In case I want to get my beak wet. Yeah, okay. Great idea. But yeah, man. So never look back. Just stopped doing that and sold it and just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. And the realtor really was just like, might blow your mind, might not blow your mind after I tell you. You might just be like, yeah, that's par for the course. I know that guy.
Yeah, there's only like 1,000 per 10 square miles in this area.
Yeah, right.
So,
but yeah.
Dylan,
yeah,
dude, it has been a blast.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I love what you're doing. I love where you're going. I can't wait to watch you evolve, and I will be a customer for sure.
I appreciate that.
There's no doubt in my mind already. Just getting to know you, getting to know anyone on this podcast is a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad that you're just so open about this. It's like so many people could learn and take from this, like the ups and downs of farming. It's a real thing. And, not many people can do that publicly. And I really thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
If you're done all caught up on CWP, you need to listen to Simply Growing Food podcast. And where can you find that? Pretty much everywhere. It was
YouTube,
on Spotify. That's where I
Spotify, Amazon Music. And I got to ask you guys. I use Podbean. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
I have not.
Have you used them?
No, we don't use anybody. They use me.
They use me. Yeah.
but that creates a limitation, right?
Right.
We're not on Apple, we're not on Amazon, we're not
Gotcha.
right, and so but with those things comes a cost,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
and so. But yes, I have heard of them.
Okay.
Yeah, when we get a few more sponsors, maybe we'll take on a monthly charge to put it on wherever you hear podcasts. But
Yeah.
For now, Facebook's our biggest
Facebook's smart.
attendance.
Yeah. I have a tough time spreading the word on Facebook with the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think that's because it's a third party. So whenever you type in another email website and it pulls you off of Facebook, the algorithm detects that, and then it gets suppressed.
Oh, okay.
So like we'll have posts of a freaking nothing, a nothing burger, get 100 likes.
Yeah.
I share the show, nobody sees it.
Huh.
You know what I mean? Like, because
That's how I feel on YouTube.
see, I feel that way on YouTube too.
But it's a raw video when we because I
Put it out.
download it right onto the computer, we
Sure.
rename it and everything, and I put it on YouTube and I put it on Spotify. And I don't really know the analytics of Spotify, but YouTube, I mean, we got like 50 subscribers, and I
Like
just
how?
it's weird because
Yeah.
on here we're over 1,300 followers.
I know
and
we're not beautiful women.
You're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong, man.
We should take a page out of the shard guy.
The shard guy, yeah. He's got it going on, man. Yeah. He figured it out.
But no, I mean, I don't care. I've had people come up to me and say, "Love your podcast." I've
Yeah.
had people come up and say, "Oh, I was introduced to this new business," and that to me is all the payment I need.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna keep doing it the way we do, and I love it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you keep going with yours too. I know they're time consuming. You
Yeah.
know, and it's a.
And I'm not a tech guy.
Yep.
I don't have a Kyle here. It seems like Kyle must be the tech guy here.
Well, if that's what you want to call me.
You got the thing in your lap, man. Come on.
We limp through a lot.
Yeah.
We replace talent with just sheer willpower.
That's what it is, man,
That's
I
really
swear.
where it comes down to.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for sharing and being here. Thank you for the wine.
Yes.
One of the best wines I've ever had.
Whoa, thank you, sir.
that was
Appreciate
great.
that. That's awesome.
So thanks, man.
Yeah.
As for everybody else, thank you for watching. Join us again Monday night at 6, January 27th, when we talk to Hank's restaurant owners, Amy and Matt St. Laurent. Longtime friend of mine. Can't wait to hear what it's been like their first year or so in the restaurant business and right here in Brooklyn. Anyways, we'll see you next Monday. As always, buy local, dine local, hire local, volunteer local, source your food local. Have great days, everybody.